entire life. So which one, you can say which one you think is a little bit more strange. I have had broccoli, I just don't like it. But someone hasn't had any pie in their entire life. And that's my man over there on the midday. Joey Options, Sharif, go get him. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Uh-oh, there's Donald. Uh-oh.
There it is. What a fire, the best intro there is.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That is your boy, Mr. Shivers. I mean, Joey Options. And I'm Sharif. I'm just joking. I'll set you up with that one, huh? You like that one,
This guy was planning that all
I
morning.
totally was, dog. I'm not going to pretend.
But one thing to note, I eat my greens, y'all. I eat my greens. I get that broccoli in. My
There you go. There you go, baby. There you go. I love it. All right, what's up, everybody? We got Anish, the priceless trader. There is no price for him. Juan Padilla and Kenneth C. Dude Rocks 420 and Yannick, Gorev, Miggy, Mog, Mo. Shout out to Jay Lee and Bristol. We got Parabolic FOMO and Dewey, Jorge, Steve, Jacques, Andrew. Oh my goodness, Kyle O, the Roaring Griffin, Mary, Bart Simpson, Jolly Man, I guess he's happy. I like that. Sharif's left bicep, hey! Adrian Dinas, Dino Abedini, we got the Soul Queen, we got the world's best mod, baby. Bears versus frickin' Bulls. How about other Zinc and Mike, Michael, Felipe, 3 sevens. Good morning, right back at you, Mr. Sevens. Sir David of Smoosh a Lot, Victor McDonald and Bot Yacht Club, Jimmy Joe Smith, Nephew Joseph with a capital dang P, and Mr. John. We got Robert Woods, we got Tough Aldrin, Ricky G, Scott H, Small Cap Gapper. I haven't seen you in a minute, Scott. Welcome back, brother. If you've been here, I just haven't seen it. Amy Tiger, we got Emily, we got Joe Williams, oh baby, Adrian, Trixie, Sachin, why not as well? Bright Awakening, Frank S, Day Trader, Cut, Ryan, Fenholes, I think, Trader B, 69, Judge Shack, you know where I'm sitting if I'm sitting in the 60s, my boy. Cold King, Blue Army, last but certainly not least, we got Mr. Dinkelberg in the chat. Good morning to everyone, good morning to you, John.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. A lot to talk about. Palantir, fantastic numbers, decides to sell off 13% on the day, guys. So we're going to go over these trades, and it was not a smooth start for your boy, full disclosure there. It was tough, but hey, with earnings, right, like shoot or shoot, right, guys? That's what we do, shoot or shoot. That's what we're paid to do here. So we take those shots and we look for those grand slams. I was talking to my guy, Gorev. It's earnings. Did I execute 100%? Absolutely not, but I was still looking to kind of hit that larger trade, and it just didn't work out for me, and that's just sometimes the cookie crumbles there, guys. And that's what we do. We say it with our chest, and then we just go back to put it behind us, right, short-term memory, and then look to get involved in some other things here. So there we go, guys. You know my style. I go heavy. I try to go heavy. I try to push that size. I add into these positions, and it just didn't work. And that's just, unfortunately, the name of the game that we play. But we're in some IBIT right now to see if we can get some continuation of the trend. But one thing to note here, guys, we got to crack this downward, this downslope right here and sit on the back side of it in order for us to really, really get the ball rolling. But before we send it back over to my guy, Sharif, and he's going to give you all the small caps that he's looking at on the day, I want us to focus on something very, very important. And you know what I always talk about and how it just influences the market. And I want you to pull up the earnings report on Palantir yesterday. And this is all you really, really need to see, right? 125, 130. Look, what was that high on that earnings report call? And then you can see us reject that aggressively from there. I posted on X the options chain and kind of why we should listen to this, and I didn't, and there you go. When the market is telling you something, pay close attention to those hints that it's giving you. It's happened on NVDA, and now it's happened again, once again here on PLTR. So it's like, okay, when it's telling you something, the options chain is relaying important information, it's our job to take it into consideration and base trades off of that there, Sharif. So that's what I wanted to point out. 130 strike price, 23,000 open contracts. Check that earnings report high to a penny. Rejected there, my friend.
All right, man. Sounds good. Obviously, Palantir is definitely going to be in play today. So is IBIT. So we're definitely going to keep eyes on that. But here's what I'm looking at right now, guys. It's a light bunch. I don't want to say it's a light bunch. That's probably not an accurate description, but it's not a great look today for the small caps. There's one that's a triple-digit winner. I'm in it right now, KTTA. As you know, in the morning, I trade in the sim, and then when we get on the show, I trade live. So I did trade this one at the open profitably. It's been quite directional. At times, it's shown respect for key technical levels. At others, not so much. Right now, my assessment is that I'm looking for a VWAP hold over here. So we'll see. I've already wet the beak there, but we're a couple of pennies out of the money right now as it does drive itself back down into that $3 area. Two low 90s, my stop on KTTA. But there's a bunch. As you can see there, we've got HIMZ, which is a 2 times bull ETF of HIMS. That's why the charts look identical. And I just lost the bid there. I'm talking about KTTA. So we'll get stopped out. We'll start 0 for 1. That's kind of the way that this works. Let's see if it retraces back above VWAP, above $3. I'm talking about KTTA. Now no longer a triple-digit winner. It is down in the 90 some odd %. So that one is losing VWAP. Got to keep an eye out on that one. EVGO as well. Very, very directional, very strong on the day. Did this report? Because this is interesting. So there's two of these guys. Don't confuse them. There's GoEV and there's EVGO. One is an actual EV company. One is an EV charging company. EVGO is a charging company. So these guys are like Blink, ChargePoint, similar to that. Very directional, very strong, and here's why it's moving up on the day. Stock is soaring on sales and guidance. We're very strong. We're not going to read out the report, but obviously did report earnings. So this is an earnings winner and a good one at that, 40% or thereabouts in the clear as it knocks on the door of that $4 area. Now, having looked at this on the 5 over here, you can obviously see right away from a cursory view that it is very respectful of that solid green line. Viewers of the show will know that solid green line is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. Always on my black charts will be the 5 minutes. So this one, I'd be very interested in picking it up on a 10 EMA retracement. Alas, the EMA is a dynamic level. Therefore, I cannot place a static order to shadow a dynamic indicator. It doesn't work that way. So I'm going to have to be moving it as it goes. So we'll talk about the rest of what I've got here on the small cap gapper watch list when we get back from Adair.
Just be aware here, we do have Scott Bessent, who is still testifying in front of the House Appropriation Committee, being asked here about his thoughts about a central digital currency. He said it's not a fan. He believes that these digital currencies or digital assets belong in the private sector. So that just came through here. Again, I'm just basically repeating this from what I'm hearing in my ear. So if I get here, yeah, so here's, I guess, a more clear summary of his comments just coming through in X. And I quote, "A central bank digital currency is a sign of weakness." So he views it as a sign of weakness, and he does say that he's not going to be in favor of the Fed issuing digital currency. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. Quickly, just before we go on, the OG Havana Woody letting me know that GoEV, which was the EV company, is bankrupt. And when I typed in GoEV in the ticker, it didn't show up. So thanks, Havana, for pointing that out. I did not know that. Yeah, it's a tough life being an EV company, whether it's in North America or China. I'm hearing a lot of Chinese EV companies going belly up as well. So much or so aggressive is the competition in that country. No different over here. So EVGO, the charging company, electric vehicle charging company, very good look as it knocks on the door of 4. It's up over 40%. So I'm certainly interested in anything off the 10 exponential. If the 10 EMA does not hold on EVGO, I will not be looking to the 20. I will be looking to that volume weighted average price. So currently on my chart, $3.58. So we'll keep tabs on that. CoreWeave, what a day today for CoreWeave. Beautiful look. Up, no, it's not up big, 6%, but when you look at the technical pattern, it's beautiful. Reclaims VWAP at 10.15, and it hasn't looked back since then. And also the deeper, or not the deeper, the retracements, I should say, do hold above the 10 EMA, so I like that as well. In addition, there is obviously here an area high. I'm talking about that's 52 3/4. which was defended. So look, the lower end of this bull flag range, 53 is the low. So it's being front run. That low end of the range is front running that previous area high. So you want to see that. That kind of gives me a more of a bullish feeling that it's not even coming back into that key technical area to retest it. So strong is it on the day that it's being front run. So that I'll be looking at as well. UPWK, another really good look right now. Upwork, 20% in the clear. This is technically not a small cap gapper, as it's about a $2.13 billion market cap. But as you can see, you don't need to be a super trader to know that when this thing spikes at 4 o'clock, it is likely an earnings winner. So this looks like it's earnings day one. Beautiful thing is we're holding that area high at around 15 bucks. We traded below it momentarily, like right before the open. But as you can see, right at that 9:30 a.m. open, we took the level no problem, and we've been above 15 for a while. So another one that I'd be interested in picking up off the 10 exponential. But look at this 2-candle retracement over here. This did breach the 10. So if you're going to use the 10 as your impetus for getting in the trade, don't have such a tight stop below the 10, because it's shown you its propensity to breach the level yet reclaim it super quick. So look at the characteristics of each and every stock that you trade. What are they doing? Are they habitually respectful of technical levels, or do they breach them at times? If they do, you have to account for that in your stop placement as well. So UPWK, interesting. And then Brendo brought us this right at the morning, AREB. We got that ARAB money. It's dropping all the way down. They're bankrupt now, Joseph. No, I'm kidding. Bull flag to start the morning there at 8:40 a.m. when the news hit, and then we rocketed up above $4. But that was as good as it was going to get on the day, man, because this looks like a head and shoulders pattern, looking to go red on the day if it goes anything below that 295. So AREB in focus as well. As I look over here, KTTA is halted the downside, so it loses that $3 level. It looks like a flat bottom break with that descending wedge. So we'll start 0 for 1 on the day with that L on KTTA, but we'll certainly be looking to do a little bit better here, Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin here. You can see the channel that we're starting to form, and now we're kind of on the backside of it, holding VWAP relatively well. One thing to note is that we have a really strong drive here, and then now we're just kind of pulling back. So this is a positive signal, just going really, really small to start, and then if we really get the ball, if we can get that momentum to start to pick up and we start climbing higher, then we can add into the position once it starts winning. So I also got to be cautious too, right? Because I took some decent size on Palantir earlier, and it didn't work out for me. And I have risk measures that I have to always implement all the time. But one thing to know, guys, is that Google is really strong. And we started talking about this yesterday. And it's unfortunate because I seen this 5-minute print right out the gate, and I'm like, ooh, I really like this, and I should have took this trade, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's unfortunate that I didn't, but by any means, that's a really good setup. I usually don't trade those 5-minute orbs as frequently as I used to do, but you can see that this one worked out really well, but that indecision print is there and that volume spike is there. So that gives you more conviction within the setup, and that's why you got to take those trades. I did trade AMD this morning, and I was slightly premature on that front as well. I was looking for that 5-minute hammer to print right here, and it just didn't work out. I got into the volume weighted average price, and then it rejected it. So yeah, that didn't work out, but that's okay. We'll find something that does. I mean, we got earnings on AMD and SMCI this evening, so I'm looking forward to that. And Sharif and I were just kind of briefly talking, like, man, how much more can this stock get beaten up before it eventually finds some ground and finds its footing and can get the ball rolling. So let's see what Lisa Sue and company has in store for us this evening, Sharif, because I mean, like, think about how long we've been holding these lows for. Right, like we've been hovering around this $100 range. We dipped down to 78, which is absolutely crazy. But I mean, if anything is positive, like if there's any form of surprise, and that's what the street loves, is surprise.
Bang.
If there's any form of that here in AMD, this thing can really, really start to squeeze up to maybe that 115. But I'm not saying that's going to happen. But with that being said, like we're still down 50% off of those all-time highs, a little bit more than that, closer probably to 60. But what we'll do is we'll take a look at the expected move and to see, like, hey, what is this range that we're potentially looking at here on AMD, and I already have it up here because I was curious myself. So here we can see, guys, we're looking at approximately about a 8% expected move. So that could put us at a high of 106 and then a low of 90. So what is this telling us? Okay, so if you're playing that at the money straddle, then you need to exceed 8%, and if you do, then that's when your trade's really going to start being profitable. So just be cautious of that. And also what we want to do is, okay, so we have that 8% expected move, a high of 106, a low of 90. Now, what's the options chain telling us, and how can we give ourselves a higher chance of probability being in our favor? And is there any form of correlation between the expected move and high levels of open interest? And with that being said, 105, at that 105 strike price, we have 17,000 current open contracts. So keep an eye out on that. But before that, we have 22,000 at that $100 strike price. Now let's go to the put side and see what we have on that front. And I mentioned that we have a low of 90 here, potentially a low of 90. That's going to be the implied move. But at 95, we have 14,000 open contracts. But right at 90, we have 25,000 open contracts. So if we do decide to dump, I'm going to be looking for 90 to be acting as a form of support. And if it does not, then maybe there might be some more potential downside. But we can use that put wall as somewhat of a gauge and make trades based off of that, Sharif.
Yes, sir. All right, setting up a couple of dip trades here on our friend EVGO. Guys, we're in HIMS over here. We're long 48s. I just wet the beak at 65. And now we're waiting. I'm waiting, excuse me, for 88s, okay? I perceive there to be an ascending wedge pattern on HIMS. Now, whether you get the flat top break quick as you like, or you zig, zag, and dilly-dally, we're going to have to wait and see. But I perceive this to have $47 resistance. In fact, I'm supported in that belief by the 3-candle rejection on the 5. Now, mind you, the candle at 9:45 did breach $47, making a local area high, the high of the day, mind you, at 48.52. But all 3 candles closed below 47. There's a seller here at 47 that, is quite high in their conviction. We keep working into it and we keep rejecting it. You saw that same look again at 10:45 when the high there of the candle was 46.75. Yet again at 10:55 when the high of the candle there was 46.70. The point to tell you here is this one is a good flat top break candidate through 47. It may come with bamboozlement though. You may get wicked in, wicked out, and tossed all over the place before you end up getting the flat top break. But I see this as an ascending wedge pattern with the area low being that area 43 hold that we put in at 10:05 and 10:10. And again, this area pullback here at 10:35 and 10:40 on the 5-minute, which is obviously another area low. In addition to all that, with the higher lows and the flat top, it's been very respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5, 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart for our newer traders. And I don't mean to undermine anybody when I say that. I just know that we have newer traders all the time. Somebody was telling me in the chat, you feel like I'm condescending in the way I speak. I swear to God, I don't mean it like that, but we have newer viewers all the time. I have to take account of that, right? So right now we're going into 70. We're doing it live here. We just got into 80s. Let's see if we can break through that 80 area, Joseph. I'm waiting at 88s, but it's not giving me that print it's not giving me that print at all. So we're going to have to pack our patience over here, back up into 72s. The tape is moving a little bit more aggressively now. Over 10% goes HIMS. We're about 11.5%. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Very interested in that flat top break. Now, I'm obviously putting my out south of the flat top break, what I perceive to be a possible flat top break. That doesn't mean I end the trade once the out gets triggered, my 88s, if it gets triggered. If it breaks through that $47 area on a closing basis and doesn't wick down in the way that it did at the open, I'm going long again. And we'll take it again. Here we go again, showing me 81s. Can we get some 88s, please? Yeah, you always wonder whether you should be flattening out at these levels or not, but that's always the question that I struggle with, whether we reject off this level, and that's Yeah, that's what it looks like it might do at the moment. So keeping my eye on this one, trying to pack my patience the best I can, but I'm certainly interested in continuing the trade with this one. Now, the other one that I've got on, EVGO, I didn't get my dip trade, despite the fact that I put it a little bit higher than the 10 EMA. So we'll look to take the first print on that at 90, and then after that 95s, we've got 87, so we're break even on it at the moment. Back to HIMS, again, zigging and zagging right now, south of that 70 penny area. It was able to wick up into 80s, but that's as good as it could do. Let's see what we get here, Joseph.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, sorry. I have to interrupt, my man. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Nick Dub. He threw in a big boy super chat there. Thank you for the $5. Big Nick Dub. So the situation is here. We got RIVN and we got Uber reporting. RIVN after the bell today. He's like, would you mind giving your thoughts on RIVN and Uber? Love Uber long swing. Have you been adding on any dips? Look for RIVN breakout. So I don't have RIVN, but I have Uber. You know that. So definitely haven't added anything at Uber. Full disclosure, when we did dip down that day, the day that Donald Trump told everybody to buy, I didn't take his advice. I bought before he said that. But I did add to my Apple and my ASML positions at very advantageous levels. I didn't add to Bitcoin or IBIT. I didn't add to anything else other than those two. So just full disclosure so that, you know, I'm not accused later of making stuff up. All right. So let's have a look over here at RIVN. We'll start with RIVN because I have a more of a fundamental picture on Uber, but more of a technical picture here on RIVN. Now look, you got a, let's call a spade a spade. It's been really ugly for RIVN as of late. We can't really seem to shake these lower highs. And we've been putting them in since August 2023 and even before that. I'll submit to you actually, it starts way before that. The lower highs have been in place since basically, oh goodness, since ever, okay? It literally has been since ever, but since we kind of found this area over here at around, say, south of 40 bucks, lower, look at this, lower high, lower high, lower high. All these are lower highs with no higher highs. Oof. Yeah, so what I'm looking for from a technical sense is to break this lower high situation that we've been into for a long time and print something possibly above that 17, possibly above that 19. Look, you've got a 17 area here, you've got a 19 area here, a 24 area here that we spend a lot of time at. So that's my thinking on this one. It's a technical story until we get some R2 information. I was telling this to Brendo at the big desk today. I really feel that the R2 can be that needle mover. Okay, it's the one that they can produce en masse. It's the one that you know a lot more people in the population can afford. I mean, I was telling Brendo again this morning that the R1S, not the T is a bit cheaper in this country. The R1S is still used 3 years old or 2 years old. Over 100,000 Canadian in this country. That's too expensive. How many people of the population can you think can fit that bill? So I definitely think we need the R2 to move the needle. I think that will be a really important thing analysts will be listening to today on the call. They want to hear about the R2 and obviously a bit more down the road, that smaller, weird-looking R3, which I don't care for. Yeah, I don't. But the R2 looks real good. I like it. Let's look at Uber. Uber, you know how I feel about Uber. $60 bottom. That goes back years, bro. We can look at the weekly on that monster. That $60 has been money for years. Initially, it was resistance back in late 2020, early 2021, and now we've been using it as support to no end. This is the weekly, guys, on your friend Uber. And starting over here, that's February 2024. Okay, since we took out that level, look at that 60 hold, 60 hold, 60 hold. You get where I'm going with a 60 hold. But on the same side, that 85, 80 has also been a hard road to hoe. But we are almost back into all-time highs on Uber, man. The market is certainly not at all-time highs yet. Uber is. In addition to that, we've been hearing about them throw in different collaborations with different companies for ride-hailing in different countries too, not just the United States. I think they've got some deals out in Asia as well. So Uber, fantastic look, but I got to tell you, you know, we need to hear some good news from them today because I feel like the market's primed to sell off on any bad news. We saw that with Netflix, with the, what's it called, with the Hollywood 100% tariffs yesterday. So I really like Uber. If Uber misses and drops down into the mid 60s, not financial advice, I'll be buying it up there. How about that? Okay, so that I don't give anybody the wrong advice. I'll be buying it up at around 60 bucks. So if we miss on Uber, that $60 level is money in my humble submission, Joseph.
Okay, yeah. So guys, I want to take a look at Tesla's price action here. This could be a really, really good breakup setup, especially if the volume starts to step in here. So you can see prices really starting to compress, and we're consolidating sideways. So there is a potential trade. Nvidia started to rip a little bit here, and AMD as well too. So that's a positive sign for some of these tech stocks. And if we can really sit on top of this range and we see that volume step in, then we're going to look to take this trade via TSLA for sure. So going to keep my eyes on this one. I'm cooking up here in IBIT. I'm going to look to start to take some off here as well too, guys, because that is the name of the game that we play. So here we go. I'm going to take about 30% off right now, just to be cautious.
Get it, Joseph.
A little bit, maybe we'll go a little bit less. But there, okay, there we go. So we caught that fill there, guys. So again, just playing the break of this channel, adding into strength, and then if it comes back to my break even, then we'll just get stopped out, but that's okay. But you can see the strength here in the tape, so I want to get that ball moving. As soon as I take some out, Bitcoin decides it wants to start ripping. That is crazy.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, so I take some out. We leave some for a runner, and then we look for that break of the high day, and that's what we're kind of doing here. But I want to keep my eyes on Tesla just in case it wants to break out here, and we see that volume step in on the lower time frames. I think that's going to be a positive sign and a good setup, but I like this potential trade here on IBIT. One thing to note, if we crack this indecision print high, then we can absolutely rip into these post-market highs, and that's what I'm kind of aiming for here with this specific position. As we climb higher, I'm going to take another 10%, 20%, we'll call it here, guys, off. And there we go. We took that off there. Give us a little bit more breathing room on the day. So working out really, really well. Just a little bit over half of the position remaining now, but I also have to respect my break even. So if we come back towards that and we don't continue this breakout, then it's unfortunate that I'm going to have to give back some unrealized, but that's okay. We took some off, we locked in those profits, and now we're looking for that extension within this move here to just kind of give us some more gains. But eyes are on Tesla as well too if we don't crack this high day here in IBIT. But one thing to note on this 5-minute time frame, it doesn't reflect it here, but we can see it on this chart that we're slowly starting to stair step and pick up in volume, and that's going to be a positive sign. We always want to focus on that. Is this breakout going to be genuine? Are we going to break through some of these highs of days? And with that being said, you guys see that we have to see that momentum and that volume step in order for us to classify it as a genuine move and break through key resistance levels. All right, guys, so that's the game plan. Telling you guys exactly what I'm thinking in my head and exactly how I'm going to execute these trades. And I think that's a really, really good start. You always want to have a plan, and if you go into a trade without a plan, then your chances of success are going to be drastically affected. All right. So yeah. Okay. So here we go on Tesla, guys. All we need is that volume to really start to kick in here. I'm going to pull up TSLA on my chart. Nice breakup move right here. Breaking through some of those resistance zones. Positive sign. I'm going to have to pull up TSLA relatively quick to see if we can get involved in this name, because we don't want this ship to sail without us, but we also don't want to chase it too, guys. So we got to be cautious. We're going to wait for that volume, then we're going to wait for that retest of that breakout zone, and then maybe we can get involved here. We can start really, really small, which I'm thinking I'm going to do. We're just going to get our toes wet here, guys, with this in case the volume does decide it wants to step in. Therefore, we're positioned really well. If it does break the volume-weighted average price, then we'll just get out of the trade and reassess the situation. But one thing to note, we need this volume. This is a nice engulfing candle print right here on the 1 minute. Now you can see I'm buying above resistance zones, but we need that volume to step in order for us to continue and then potentially add into this position, Sharif. So that is the game plan. We're in some TSLA right now, looking for the continuation of this potential breakout pattern. And if these big names are going to continue to move the way that they are, then I think we're sitting in a good position.
All right, my man Bovin is telling me that we got Donald tweeting here on Truth or whatever, Truthing. Yeah, here it is, 5 minutes ago. I look forward to meeting the new Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney. I very much want to work with him, but cannot understand one simple truth. Why is America subsidizing Canada by $200 billion a year in addition to giving them free capitals, military protection, and many other things? Question mark. We don't need their cars. We don't need their energy. We don't need their lumber. We don't need capital, anything they have. Lies. Other than, where am I at here? Sorry, I have to click other. They need. He's bargaining here. We don't need their cars. We don't need any. We don't need their lumber. We don't need anything they have other than their friendship, which hopefully we will always maintain. They, on the other hand, need everything capitals again from us. The Prime Minister will be arriving shortly, and that will be the most likely. That will be most likely my only question of consequence. Donald Trump, the ever skillful negotiator, getting ready to meet the new Canadian Prime Minister. He's not new. He kind of took over from the old guy and then won the election fair and square. He's going to be meeting with him shortly. I saw Carney getting off the airplane there. So yeah, keep an eye out on that, guys. We could have, car-related news, auto tariffs, so lots of stuff could be in focus here. I'm not exactly sure when they're going to hold a joint press conference together, but expect there to be some volatility coming from that conference. So I'm all ears, I'm all eyes. Adara's at the big desk. She's going to be covering that as soon as it does happen. So we'll keep you guys apprised. But Donald Trump meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney today. I think for the first time, I think they did speak on the phone before the election, and now they are going to meet IRL. So definitely interested to see what happens there. It's a very consequential meeting. Obviously, the countries are very, very interlinked. Let's just call a spade, both socially, everything else, economically, everything kind of tied in together there. All right, guys. We're involved in a couple of trades. Let's talk about that. EVGO, I'm interested in adding into this one. I'm taking very, very small size here, okay, on these dip trades. I'm very interested in adding until that volume weighted average price. If it loses VWAP, which is currently around 363, I'm out. Simple as that. We'll take an L. Okay, so let's set up another dip trade there, see what we can get. It's going to have to hold above the volume weighted average price. I have no interest in holding that below it. So I'm building my position slowly. KIDZ, kids, up, not big move on the day, 6.8%, but putting in higher lows and higher highs. Feels like it could be a flat top break candidate, maybe around 680 or so. I'm also trying to build my position, as you can see on the screen there. I've entered there at 674, but I've got 3 dip trades, all 10 pennies separated from one another. I'm interested in catching the higher low pattern that we got on this one, obviously punching in near the highs. So I've definitely got to adjust my cost basis, so to speak, by setting up the dip trade. So I'm interested in looking at that one as well. So KIDZ, EVGO are the ones that I'm involved in right now. CoreWeave, though, continues to do quite well. The only reason I'm not weaseling into this one is quite expensive. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. Since we're on a prop floor, this is obviously the firm's money. But, it's kind of hard a little bit to manage risk on this one, especially on the show. And it is a little bit spready, okay? I know, Adara, I don't think it's spready enough for you, though, Adara. It might be, it's not a $10 spread quite yet.
That's not going to be enough.
I appreciate that, Dara. Thank you for when she wants, she can get in whenever she wants. She's got that button now.
Yeah, oh yeah, there we
right?
go.
She's got her button. Go ahead.
Let's go Bitcoin.
What do you got, baby?
We got Bitcoin breaking out here, guys. This is what we want to see. Holding onto this position, a knife engulfing candle right here on the 1 minute. So I want to crack the high a day, continue into 5380s, and then maybe that's when we'll look to take a little bit off. Being patient on this Tesla trade as well, too, there, guys. All right, so we're gonna take another 10% off here. Roughly at that crack bang. There we go, caught that fill. So let's go here. IBIT, we broke that channel. We sat on the opposite side of it. We added to the position, and there you go. We're slowly starting to cook up positive here on the day, up about 1/3 of a, 1/3 here, guys. So that's a positive sign. I like this. I want Bitcoin to recover. There we go. We take another leg higher. We got that 5381, Sharif. We're cracking through that high a day. Everything that we were talking about, we want to see that volume and that momentum start to pick up when we breach key levels, and you're seeing that displayed right now here in IBIT. And one thing that we need to note is now just pay attention to any form of indecision on the lower time frames. And it looks like we're genuine right now. We're looking pretty good. You can see that volume really start to pick up here on the 1 minute interval. So that volume by time profile giving us more conviction within the setup. And that's exactly what we need. We're looking for those things, and now they're coming into fruition. So there we go. Bitcoin breaking out. We cracked through that high a day. This was a nice short signal, and I'm like, oh no, that's dangerous. But then we were patient. We entered on the pullback. The pullback volume was low. Once we cracked the channel, we entered more shares on the break of that channel. So now let's see if this move can be sustained, Sharif.
Great look, Ayush Sharma. Tell me look at AD or TDUP. Great look. All right, I gotta say something though, man. Guys, we're building out a brand new roundtable style layout. All 4 hosts on set, live, all at once. Yes, there will be hammers. Yes, there will be dust. But by the end, Studio 8, that's what we're calling it, baby, is going to change the way live trading is done. This is a metamorphosis, straight up. From the studio, you know, to the one we've always dreamed for. You've seen us evolve over the years. If you've been watching the show a long time, now you get to watch us transform. Studio 8 is coming. That's what it looks like now. Wait until you get a gander at what it looks like after it's done. That entire wall where it says Trader TV Live, that entire wall is gonna, can I give it away, Brenda? Ah, Brendo.
Oh,
Good thing I checked with him, huh? Yeah. Ah. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, there's Brenda. There's Brenda. There's the old one. There it is. Get it, Adara. And there we are over here. The Bash Brothers. Oh, get him, Joseph. So that's the entire studio there, guys. We are going to be doing a big boy renovation. We got a bit of a taste this morning as to what's to come. Mark, at the nice and bright early time slot of 7:30 a.m. was drilling up a storm.
Oh, yeah?
On the other side there. Yeah, it was fantastic.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, Joseph, but we're gonna have to deal with it because things don't get done on their own. So yeah, guys, we're building out an entirely new studio. It's going to be bigger, better, and we're super amped up about it. Obviously, we want to let you know because you may hear some disruptions in the background, but trust me, we'll be a lot better for it, no doubt about it.
It's going to be the best studio ever.
It's going to be the best studio. There's never been better. All right, guys, we're still involved in EVGO over here as it finds a little bit of support here at what seems to be the 20 EMA on the 5. I'm still waiting for 88s to wet the beak. Nothing doing there. KIDZ did come in to my 80 print and didn't fill, which I'm okay with. I don't mind this one dropping. I've got very small size up here. I'm obviously looking at dollar cost averaging planned DCAs into that volume weighted average price, which is currently at 643. Let's see if this ends up giving me a bit of a fill or what the situation is. Good look there. Let's look at TDUP for our friend, Mr. Sharma. This is a good looking chart there. This is the weekly. What the hell? This is a beautiful looking chart over here. Look at this multi-day run ever since January 14th. This thing's been rocketing up, man. Good look. This is not just around for a good time, not a long time type situation. Let's see what the look is on the 5. Okay. Another one that seems to have a bit of respect here for the 10 EMA. Even on this candle, comes back in and tests that 615, 620 area where it had rejected earlier. So TDUP, man, has earned its way up onto the side chart, and it's up 42% today. So let's put some dang respect on this one's name. I just took off KTTA, and we're putting in TDUP right now on the side chart. We'll definitely be involved in that one if it does set up the right way. High day on this monster, $6.45. Let's see where we get to. We're currently trading at 635, Joseph.
Oh, let's go. All right. Say, look at Miguel Cotto. Oh, all right. Oh,
Miguel Cotto?
Yeah. This guy said my left hook looked like that.
Oh.
But didn't he get destroyed by Canelo?
One of my favorite fighters. So what, bro? Lots of people got destroyed by Canelo.
I guess essentially everybody got destroyed.
So you remember what he did to your friend there that used to pack his gloves? That Pacquiao beat up as well? Margarito. He beat the living you-know-what out of Margarito. So did Pacquiao, though.
All right, then.
Oh, Miguel Cotto was a serious fighter, bro.
He looked
Puerto
serious,
Rican, man.
Yeah. Ooh, I
Puerto
love
Rican
those.
fighter, bro.
You know my favorite Puerto Rican fighter right now is, and he's a bad dude, Edgar Berlanga. He fought.
yeah.
I just love him. He looks like a G. Like that's a guy that you see on the street, and you're like, yeah, you don't mess with that guy whatsoever. Yeah. So Berlanga, one of my favorite fighters right now, and he's just iced out too, so all the time. So yeah.
Joe Mama. 100 Adaras versus 1 Sharif. Who wins at Joseph? What's happening here, Joe Mama?
That's crazy.
What's happening here? We're not trying to fight our coworkers.
Yeah,
Give me some credit. 50 Adaras.
I mean, I don't want to fight Adara. What's happening here?
Yeah.
I know,
It's
Adara. I don't know what to say to that. I'm sorry.
It's a 100 gorilla thing.
It's a,
you know what I mean?
That's
to be honest with you, I take the 100 humans over the 1 gorilla. I just think you don't.
Well, someone said that basically the gorilla would get really tired after killing 20 humans, but he'd rip apart 20 humans.
Oh, yeah.
And then he would fatigue.
If you're the first 25, you don't want to be the first 25, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, 100 Adaras and 1 Sharif, I got to go with the 100 Adaras.
Yeah, bro. I don't have enough arms.
Yeah, and the cardio. Well,
and Adara's pretty tough. She smashes double sessions a day, too. So let's put some respect on her name.
Top gold, boys. Yeah, we can take a look at GLD. We'll pull that up for you there because wait, what is Obi laughing at there?
I'm chuckling because of what people are saying. I'm looking at Ob. I'm like shocked.
Obi, yeah, I don't know.
Ob is just entertaining me.
Yeah,
right now,
Obi,
bro.
man, he's printing up a stone.
Oh yeah. When is he not?
So here, you guys. I mean, like there were some shorting signals here on gold, but then it's recovered relatively well. So here you go. We're just approaching that all-time high once again here on gold.
Okay.
We're only about 1.5% off of that there, Sharif. So if you were trying to hold on to that short, it didn't work out too well for you because you have now gapped up and you're only 1.5% off of that all-time high. I thought that we would see a little bit more of a retracement on this underlying Sharif on this asset class, but that has not been the case here. And there you go. So if we crack that all the time, just be cautious on what's going on because it could definitely squeeze and continue to move to the top side, especially if there's still some uncertainty in the market. And I think that's something that we need to take into consideration. Okay, so Tesla's not breaking up how I want to. Once we crack the volume weighted average price, I'm just going to hop out of the trade here because I don't want to hold on to a failed breakout. That means we can move to the downside. And you can slightly see how extended the Qs and the SPY are from the volume weighted average price. So no participation from Tesla on that front, and Nvidia and some of the other big tech names are starting to break down as well too, Sharif.
Yes, sir. All right, I set up a dip trade here on TDUP. I'm trying to pick it up off the 10 EMA, knowing full well that in the last hour and a half, it touched the 10 EMA, like legitimately touched it, not came close to it one time. So I'm thinking, maybe the right move here is to get in now and to do exactly what I'm doing with the other ones and planned dollar cost average. But I don't want to be in 3 trades that are like that because that's not going to set up in the right way here. So I'm going to leave the order at 633 on TDUP for that 10 EMA retracement. If I get it, I get it. Great. If I don't, well, then you miss some, you lose some. Adara's at the big desk.
I just want to let you guys know there's no news on this that I can see other than Trump trying to get these pharmaceutical tariffs to come. But Eli Lilly, I just want to put a spotlight on because this one, incredibly weak as we have some relative strength in some areas of the market. Eli Lilly just took out last week's low. This is now at 780. It looks like 788 now almost. So LLY, if you're looking for some names that are relatively weak, this is certainly one of them. This is, again, Eli Lilly. Back to you.
Not getting filled. Yeah, that's the way she works. I thank you for that, Adara. Guys, I'm feeling kind of good about this HIMS trade over here. We got out at the top. Now, I was concerned that this was, or I was theorizing that this would be a flat top break through 47, excuse me. But it's actually rejecting 47 in the same way that it did over here. So now it breaches through 47, probably triggers a lot of people long, because if I saw it, a lot of other people saw it. Goes up to 47.20, and now we're down to 46.30. And this is now losing the 10 EMA. It's been holding the 10 EMA since 10:05. So an hour and 40 minutes, and now it's losing it. And it's got a 2-candle red setup. Now it even hasn't had a 2-candle red setup since 9:55 this morning. So it is kind of dropping a little bit here. Now, where's the level to pick it up at? What's the move? So I see a possible, let's see what it does at the 20. The current level of the 20 is $45.70. but the volume weighted average price is right around 45. In fact, it's a little bit lower than 45, around 44.75. So I'm interested in this one, but it's got to set up in the right way. I'm not going to just try to guess where this one's going to trigger. All right, here we go. Now we're dipping into EVGO, into my last beak wetter, which is waiting at 69s. It's defending 70 right now. Anything below the volume weighted average price, which is 363, I get stopped out of this one. Simple as that. But we're doing it live here on KIDZ. There we go. Now we took out 2 levels, 80 and 85s, and now we're up to 87s. All this without getting any other thing filled. So I still have small size, full disclosure. This candle did pass my dip trade, and it passed it by quite a bit. I'm waiting at 65s. This dipped down into 61s, but it was so spready, or there was no liquidity, I didn't get filled there. And that is not a fake wick, because I've got it both on my platform and P Pro 8. So yeah, you win some, you lose some. We take out some on the top there, which obviously helps me de-risk. So let's throw out another order there at 95s. I'm going to leave these orders over here live because I think they're still valid. The higher low and the higher high situation hasn't changed. And so therefore, these dip trades remain valid. And they're still at key levels. So that's my thinking here on KIDZ and EVGO, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there. So yeah, I got out of TSLA. That was a false break. We didn't get any of that volume to step in. And then you can see kind of just this bearish engulfing right here. So we added to that position and never got that breakout volume that we were necessarily looking for. And then now you can see that we're heading towards some key support levels and looking like we might break down. Here you go. We got that same engulfing. 5-minute print here on the SPY, so you can see 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes of trading just absolutely engulfed in a span of 5 minutes. So when you see that, that just tells me that sellers are in control of the price action right now. It doesn't mean that they'll stay in control, but you can see that weakness within Tesla, and I don't want to be trading it when it's weak. I want to find some strong names, and I think that's IBIT. IBIT is working relatively well for us, so that is a positive sign. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on with Tesla from a daily standpoint. I remember somebody was telling me that they had some contracts or anything along those lines. I forget who it was, and I told you, if we had the ability to sit on top of this 296, then we can continue to climb. But I also referred to it as saying locking in some profits just in case you don't get that breakout, and then we look to move to the downside. And Sharif was talking about it this morning. Is that number truly accurate? 540 EVs Tesla sold. Oh my days.
And
that is.
Look, to be fair to them, Joseph, they weren't selling crap ton. I'll show you the exact data right here. So here it is. Let's just scroll up super quick. So what they sold last year, this time, Joseph, was 1,404. Now they're down to 536. What really concerned me about this is that you had seen Tesla sales drop off everywhere. France, Spain, Germany, except England. It wasn't dropping off. That was the bright spot, and it's not anymore.
So there you go. Now it's not the bright spot. And how we mentioned with BYD coming into, we were talking about it multiple times before. These cheaper EVs are just are coming in with storm and force here and just absolutely taking market share from Tesla. And you can see that displayed with the numbers. Sharif said 1,400 EVs next year, and then that's cut by 60% the following. So that is a tough look for Tesla. The earnings report was not good at all. So if we continue to move to the downside, I would not be surprised. And if we crack some key support levels, then there it is. Eventually, I think the fundamentals have to come up, catch up to this name. And maybe we're seeing that right now, Sharif, down 2% on the day.
Well said, man. I mean, I personally don't get any satisfaction of reporting bad numbers for Tesla. I happen to like Elon Musk. I happen to be involved in the company in the long term, so it doesn't please me at all to do this, but this is the truth, and it's ugly at the moment. Some would say if it's his own doing, nobody forced him into the government. There's so many different opinions here. Joseph, we're doing it live here on KIDZ. We're taking out the top. We're at the high of the day right now, 698. I just took out the last beak wetter, and this was sad for me because I had all these dip trades really thinking that they were going to fill, and none of them filled. And now we're exhausted out of shares, so we're knocking on the door right now of that $7 area. I'm talking about KIDZ, one of those ones that we saw last week really running, and everybody had a nice laugh at my expense there because I was like, go kid, or I was like, I'm getting kids or something like that. I don't know what I said, but it was ended up being funny and kind of off-putting a little bit. But KIDZ, guys, 10 3/4, about to take out 7 right now. I don't perceive too much size here on the level 2 at $7. I'm only seeing about 50 to 70 lots or so. I'll submit to you there are real numbers probably a lot bigger. Look at it, take out 7. Okay, what do I know, man? Good look there for KIDZ, taking out 7 now, the high of the day, 706. Does it hold 7? You got the bid and the ask, both above $7. Does it stay there or does it continue to dip down? So here's what I'm going to do. Those dip trades that I had there are no longer valid, so we're going to cancel all of them. And I'm going to set up another dip trade, and it's going to be at 80s, a little bit above 80s. The reason I see 80 as a good level, once, twice, you know what I'm going to say?
What?
Obi freaking thrice. Get it, Ob. We rejected that $6.80 level. So if it took us so many attempts to clear 680, maybe, just maybe, it might act as an area of support if we come back and test it. Get it, Joe?
Maybe.
So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a dip trade at 685 and let it cook there, see what we get, and we will not get upset, as my friend Neil likes to say. What do we got over here? All right, let's keep an eye on the other one, EVGO, doing bupkis. We're out of the money on that one by about 7 pennies. We'll keep an eye out on that. How about the other one over here? Upwork, we already got stopped out of. Now, let's have a look at Upwork over here. Did I have the right stop? I think I did, because I was trying to base it off the 10 EMA, but it's lost the 10, and now it's lost 16. $16 level area. High of the day, 16.43. It's below 16, dropping into 15.94. My next pickup on UPWK will be at around 15.75 for volume weighted average price retracement. Let's give this one another try over here.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to put in my order at 15.82 to front run that volume weighted average price area. We'll see what we get there. Back to KIDZ. Let me know if you want to get in.
Yeah. Can I cover this here real quick? Yeah, so there we go. Guys, so that was a big time false breakout here on Tesla. You can see that we are compressing in price. And then as we were climbing through some key resistance zones, that volume never stepped in. And that's why I got out at the crack of the volume weighted average price. And you can see we're continuing to move to the downside here. So it's really important to, and I posted it on X, go check it out, the options chain and PLTR. But it's important to follow what the market is telling us. Once we cracked VWAP, I just got out of the trade. So imagine I was still holding on to this position. I would be taking a double size the loss than what I initially should. That volume is starting to pick up on the lower time frames. If you pay attention to the time of sales, you're going to see the weakness displayed as well too. So there you go. Getting out when we're supposed to, taking the right size loss helps us stay in the game longer and prevents us from taking bigger losses than what we necessarily should be. And you can see that displayed here in Tesla. I'm glad that I'm not bag holding this name because it's breaking down and looking like it wants to continue to move to southeast direction, Sharif.
All right, we just got the dip trade now on TDUP. I'm going to continue to defend this one into that $6 area. I like this trade for a $6 area hold. That's where the volume weighted average price is. So I just got my beak wet there at 20s. Let's see if this one wants to continue dropping or whether it wants to pop back up. So what? Oh, my mistake there. TDUP, yeah, that's just my mistake. Get back into that. Just fat fingered that, my mistake. All right, so what's the situation? We're going to look to put dip trades into that $6 area. So I'm going to go ahead and wait there for this many shares. Let's see what we can get there. So looking at TDUP for $6 hold, 646 high a day. What do we got on? We got 12s, okay. Not bad. Let's wet the beak here at 17s. Not a bad look there. Okay, let's set up some more to the top side and at 22s, and we'll just layer the orders in case this one wants to pop back up. Back to now EVGO. This one's working its way back into 80, so I'm pleased that I was able to get my DCAs there. Now, I don't anticipate this one really rocketing up above 4, especially since we've got a bit of a downtrend. Since around 11:10 a.m. when we made that high of the day at 393, it's been a lower high, lower low situation. This current candle that we're in at the 5, that one that manifested at 1150, that's the only one that's really changing the game with a higher low than the previous candle. So let's see if we can get the seller who's been here at 80 for a while, whether we can shake him or not. Let's see what the situation is there. I tried to add more here on KIDZ at 85. It didn't have me, and now it's back up above 7. I'm going to leave that order active in case it does come back in and trigger. But if KIDZ continues to hold above that $7 area, I'm going to have to chase it at those levels. So it's not exactly what I want to do, but we'll keep an eye on it. What else we got over here? Upwork, I already made my point on that one. And TDUP, we already wet the beak there. Let's see if this one comes back into 6 and triggers, or if it makes its way right back up again. The current 5-minute candle has a higher low, but it literally just opened up. Yeah, all right. I haven't been looking at the chat too much. Ken, thoughts on WRD for a swing trade? It also has collaboration with Uber, but it was quite beaten up. Let's have a look at WRD. See what the situation is with that one. Shout out to my man Mean Gene, by the way.
Shout out Mean Gene.
Mean Gene Okalan, who's talking about SMCI. I told him fantastic look, but I don't trade these ones, so we're gonna leave that one. Heat it up again over here. Do a quick wipe.
My hands are cold.
Fantastic. All right, here. I'm not gonna even say it. WRD, Mr. Shivers. Oh, I love that name, bro. Mr. Shivers is sick.
Shivers.
All right, WRD, I can see your point there. Definitely beaten up there real bad. Yeah, kind of hard to give you a good look at this. Was this a SPAC? No, this opened up at 15. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to give you any look on this one just because the trend is what it is, right? It's a plethora of lower highs and lower lows, and it's not changing. So I definitely, I don't know anything fundamental about the company, but the technicals, I need to see something different. I need to see higher highs. I need to see a trend change. A fundamental analysis, I can't really help you on, guys. Adira.
We have the NASDAQ here on watch. Donald Trump and Mark Carney just stepped into the White House. We have some people following them. They were asked some questions, but Trump just basically raised his fist at the camera. Mark Carney did the same, and in they went into the building. So I'm just letting you know, we have seen, after waiting for a while here, an appearance of Trump and Carney. We're going to have to wait and see what comes of these meetings. The time initially, I think the meeting was supposed to start at 11:45, but clearly that's been delayed, so we're going to have to wait and see. I will always be listening, and I'll keep you all posted. Back to you.
You and I both. I've got it live here. It looks like it's the Rose Garden of the White House, it looks like. So, yeah, it looks like they haven't come out quite yet. Canadian and American flags, obviously, to welcome our Prime Minister, the newly elected Prime Minister. His name is Mark Carney. Just to give you guys some information on who this dude is. He's an economist. By profession, he was the governor of the Bank of Canada, the BOC, as well as the governor of the Bank of England. For a time, he had 2 tenures. He lived outside of the country for a long time. He was an economic advisor to Justin Trudeau, who was using him. I don't know what kind of advice he was giving him and whether or not Trudeau was taking his advice. But we'll have to wait and see whether, the situation is a little bit different in terms of the economy and how they execute on the economy over here. So that's who Mark Carney is for our American friends who don't really know too much about him. Just want to give you a bit of a 4-on-1 there, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you for that.
He also runs, he was on the board of Bloomberg, says Jeremy Crypto. Also, we know him. What's that asset management company that he's running? Starts with a B?
I have no idea.
You know what I mean? I forget the name of it. Carney, yeah. He's still Bridgeport or
it's something like
Adira,
that.
do you know what I'm talking about? The asset management company that has money in the Cayman Islands and stuff, and they were making accusations that he was hiding money. Anyway.
Figure that out right now.
Okay. Your co-pilot?
Brookfield,
yeah, Brookfield Asset.
Just like that. I don't even have to type in any website. I just click that little icon right there, Sharif, and then it pops up. You know what I mean?
Yo, bro, you got to get Microsoft to put you on the payroll.
Hey, man.
You can't just do this for free, Joseph.
Yeah, it's true. I got to, sorry. You got to put me on the old payroll there.
Oh,
guys.
man.
But yeah, here we go. We're still
Good
sitting here. GVO, good vibes only. USA loves Canada, our brothers and sisters.
We love you guys, man. My sister's American, man. I mean, you kidding me? Like,
yeah, I don't think I have any American family that I know of, but Yeah, that's okay. You guys are all my family. So, yeah, let's see if we can continue to bounce here in IBIT up about 0.2% here. Looking for the continuation of this trend. And if we can break that, the high day that's been established, or we're just going to come in like the rest of the market. You can see that Tesla really broke down and sold off of that fake break there, guys. So there you go. The volume not stepping in and then now cracking through some support levels and continuing to move downwards. So there it is. 260 is definitely in the works. I think the momentum to the downside on this name is probably going to pick up. I could totally be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if we go into the 240s or anything along those lines once again. So the US dollar used to get a 40% discount up there. Not so, yeah, I mean, that's funny. Not anymore, says Michael Fox. And yeah, the Canadian dollar had a nice little pump there. So, hey, we'll take that. Nice recovery on the Canadian dollar, but yeah, let's get back into some IBIT and see if we have any potential room to add. The thing is, I don't want to chase it all the way up here, even though I am positioned relatively well to currently where we're trading at. I can give myself some room, and if we are going to, okay, so there was a gap here that's been filled now too, Sharif, so that's even more of a positive sign. I like that. That's on IBIT. You won't see that displayed on Bitcoin there, guys, but with this ETF, you'll see that. I'm going to add just small size here just for that crack. I do like this pullback volume. You can see how low it is here, and if buyers really want to step in, then maybe we can push and establish a new high day. So I'll be patient, try to catch the lower end of this range. And if we don't get it, that's okay. We're still holding on to some size here, and if we get that crack of the high day, we'll be sitting relatively well. But if these big tech names want to continue to bleed, that is not going to be good. One thing to note is that Nvidia is starting to form this bull flag type pattern. If we break up higher, that will be really nice. But what do I do? And what do I ask myself? Why are we consistently running into 113.24? And I mentioned how contracts were being rolled over previously for the past couple of weeks. And through those mid-teens, we've seen those high levels of open interest acting as overhead resistance, and we squeezed for a bit. A lot of traders were caught offside through that 119 strike price, and then now we were 116. Sorry. Strike price, now we're sitting below that. But once again, the levels and the amount of volume isn't as high, but we still have a lot of open interest through those teens. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that and how we can relate this to our trading once we get back from Madeira and with Neil's lesson of the day.
Here's the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is still down on the day, though it did make a really nice pop here. But we're really unable to get back above this levels. This is even actually below these kind of post-market lows from yesterday. The high of day here around this 483.30. Then if you look at the S&P 500, exactly the same formation. Let's take a look at the IWM because we haven't done that in a while. IWM actually holding up relatively well, down less on a percentage basis as well, down only 0.5% today. Is that Russell 2000? But what are some of these movers? I want to talk about some names we haven't discussed as much, and I'm going to do a tale of two charts here, as you will. One name that's really weak, and then one name that is shockingly strong. Here's Eli Lilly. It is below last week's low as of probably about 15-30 minutes ago. LLY to the downside. This has been hit pretty hard since earnings last week, and we did have Donald Trump talking once again about pharma tariffs, which are, I guess, soon to be announced and implemented. Then we have CEG, Constellation Energy Group. This name is incredibly strong. It is still at high of day. Constellation is an earnings day one move. It was mentioned on our watch list this morning, so you can check that out. Not a lot of volume pre-market, but great move today for Constellation, shooting to the upside. And just a reminder here is our look at what we're expecting to report after the bell. Tempest, Rivian, Upstart. We've got Clover Health, Lucid, EA, and the two big ones at the very bottom here, AMD and Supermicro. So if you want to take a better look at all of that, go on X at TTV Research. I post these every single day, usually around the start of Power Hour, about 3 p.m. for the next day. So check that out for sure. I'll send you over to Neil and his lesson of the day. Make sure to like and subscribe. Without further ado, Neil, take it away.
Thank you, Adara. The lesson of the day brought to you by the one and the only underrated artist, A. Marie. It's that one thing you did. And first of all, I'm a huge fan. Like, that is one artist that I'm there's always that one that baffles you. Like, why are you not much bigger? Like, the level of talent is to me on the Beyonce level, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. When I say it's that one thing, sometimes you're just staring down one idea, one area, and it is all you need. And I'm not saying history always repeats itself, but I was just talking to Obi, and I didn't actually want to throw up, but I wasn't happy with myself that we didn't look at Robinhood. And so this is where it all comes from. Look, you saw it on earnings, Robinhood dipped under 47. 47 has been that key price. All the dips under 47, huge reversion. 46.7 into 49. Following day, dips under 47, 46.70, 250. Yesterday, dips under 47. This time it goes a little deeper, but it holds 46, right back into 48. So I don't know, what's the one thing that you might be looking for this week on Robinhood? That one thing. There's your dip. It's under 47. Just mean revert. The first heavy bottoming tail candle. You can take 2 shots at it if you want. I'd say it's cleaner yesterday. But again, maybe not as big, but you get a very clean $1.50 move. Okay, so fine. Maybe you're not always going to have something as obvious as this to just sit there and say, well, it could be one trade and that's the only one that you need. You can apply that to something a little bit different. And I'll look at, sort of waiting for Palantir. Like I missed the long on Palantir. I'm like, I'll give it a couple of shots to the long. We'll try it. Did try it a couple times, then missed the absolute bottom. Okay, well, what's the one thing I'm now waiting for? Should have done it twice. It was the opening range top at 110. So as long as that reversion trade off the low doesn't break 110, and it doesn't, there's your test. Doesn't break 110, you're short in the back end of that trade. Now it's short, add. It ends up catching, I think it's the right out because it ends up catching a bit off 108. So you get like 109s to 108 and then it trades out. But the second time was even better. Why? Because that one thing you're looking for happened again. It broke the volume weighted average price, triggering some people to look for the long trade, but then it failed the opening range resistance, and then there is your flush. Again, you're only really looking for one specific thing to happen. You don't need anything else, and that simplifies the trade for you. And that's what I love about that kind of a setup. I could argue that HIMS maybe not as clean, but did, again, the one thing that you're looking for. Once you've missed, what for my money, the best long trade off the open had to have been HIMS. If something did better, don't at me. I don't believe you. It was 38 to 47. I'm not really sure anything was a better long on HIMS. But what are you supposed to do when you miss it? The one thing that I'm looking for here was to pull back into the prior high. VWAP, like I'll try it when it tries to bust through VWAP, but you got to be able to get in when it pulls back. That one place you're looking, fill the gap in, and if it does a bottom there, you got to have the long. Now I like VWAP, by the way, because it's like, in the middle of the day, it's already confirmed it held that gap. I actually kind of like VWAP in here, but that's neither here nor there. I think some of the simplest setups that you can find or trade ideas are where you can just be laser focused on one particular price, one particular move off of a single indicator or a single price area, something that was a level the day before, maybe even the same move like in a Robinhood, and then it just simplifies your day of trading because ultimately, whether you're up, down, round, whatever it might be, I always tend to grade the day not based on, well, how much did you make? Did you take the best trades? Like if you have 5 trade ideas, and you took 2 of them and they both worked for you, well, what if idea 3 was worth twice as much as the other 2 and risked less? Did you really have a good day? I understand you're up. To me, I never graded as a good day. I'm like, did I have the best opportunity? So I know I'm not grading myself well today because I missed the early HIMS trade. And maybe the same thing with the initial Palantir short. But I'm really more upset about something as simplistic as, well, if you were just looking for the same buy the dip trade on Robinhood at the open, it literally did it twice. And you could have had either one of them. And that's a really simple idea. You don't have to worry about where you were going to turn on Palantir. With Robinhood, you're just like, is it gonna catch a bid? around that 46 into the high 45s like it did yesterday? And the answer was yes. You get into that bottoming tail, and Bob's your uncle, and it's an easier trade. And ultimately, it's going to give you more juice, or at least as much juice as Palantir, the way that it moves. It's still putting in a good ATR. So try to simplify your trading. If you can find that one thing to hone in on, a lot of times you don't have to worry about 4 or 5 different ideas. You can just work on the one if it gives you that perfect entry. So shout out to A-Marie. I have no idea why her career got railroaded, but yeah, inspired by a fantastic song and simpler trading ideas. There's your lesson of the day.
It's just that one thing that got me tripping. Sorry, Neil.
But
I had to do it, bro.
One hit wonders.
Yeah, it is. I didn't hear too much of her after that, to be honest with you. Guys, it's live. They are in the Oval Office now. I'm talking about Donald Trump, Mark Carney, and the like. So this is live. They're doing it live right now. So here we go. Now the comments are starting. Donald Trump praising Mark Carney, saying he ran a hell of a race in the election. Starting off, you could feel like a little bit on the right foot there, maybe to kind of, just make the things a little bit less awkward or so. So live in the Oval Office now, Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Here come the wild cards. I don't know what's going to be said, what's going to happen. Who the hell knows, Joseph?
Let's see if we're really friends.
That's part of his charm, this guy, right?
Yeah, we need some of that American hospitality, Southern hospitality.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, definitely love Southern hospitality. Yeah, so Joseph, we're involved in a bunch of trades right now. I'm in 4 longs at the moment: EVGO, KIDZ, TDUP, and UPWK. Some doing okay, some not that great. The worst of the bunch will be EVGO for me, but the end is near for this one. If this loses the volume weighted average price, I'm out. Simple as that. So this will be the biggest loser I have on the day. I did average into this one, into the area that I liked. My cost basis is 80. I'm 12 pennies out of the money.
And there we go. The volume, something must have been said. Obi's in it. Obi's really getting the ball rolling. Something was obviously said here, and then now you can see the market start to react. I hopped out of this IBIT trade, but there you go. You got that volume spike. That's something positive that you want to see. This guy's in office. He's talking with the Canadian Prime Minister. So best believe we're going to see this volatility step into the market, especially if those algos get triggered on anything specific that Donald says. And you've seen that displayed within a matter of minutes of these two men talking to each other. You get that volatility spike here in the market, Sharif, with the likes of some big names really getting a nice pop here. Nvidia, IBIT, and Tesla now off of those lows here.
Carney starting off with a joke. Carney's now talking. He's like, I'm on the edge of my seat. Everybody started laughing. I like that moment of levity. Keep things cool, keep things calm. I like Carney for this interview. Like I was telling Brendo today, you can't rattle his cage. He's not a person who is an emotional guy who responds. It's not going to be a Zelensky type moment. I also don't think it's going to be a Keir Steinmeier type moment. He's not going to try to flatter Donald Trump. He's going to be that kind of even keel. That's how he is as an individual. I expect him to kind of act like that. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on this. I'm hoping that some good comes out of this for both countries, obviously, right? I just don't think that there has to be a net loser and a net winner. Go ahead. Adara. Go ahead, Adara.
Got some news.
Thank you for telling me, bro.
Here, before Carney said he was at the edge of his seat, he was actually referring to a very vague comment that Trump made here about a big announcement before his Middle East trip next week. He said he's not going to tell us what the announcement is about, but that it's very positive, and he said that it's going to take place either Thursday, Friday, or Monday. So keep an eye out for Thursday, Friday, or Monday for an announcement on an indeterminate topic ahead of his Middle East trip. He said it's going to be very big and the biggest you can get, and also very good. So not clear if it's on tariffs, but I think worth noting regardless that this is on watch. Market pushing to day's high. Back to you.
Yeah, I can kind of tell. It was a sarcastic question, brother.
Honestly,
Joseph's sitting there pumping his fist. He's there, he's all good. I'm like, you good, Joseph? Like, yeah, I'm real good. Like, no.
I'm really good, man.
Hey,
this is
bro,
exactly
that's what I want to hear,
see.
man.
The market just look at this move here on NVDA, guys. Sharif, what was I telling you this morning?
What were you telling me?
I got a notification. I told you guys I got some fills on some contracts like right at the low. I posted them on the weekend, and to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting them to get filled. And then sure enough, this morning they did. I got the notification on my phone. And then now look at Nvidia Go. As you can see, that volume really start to step into this market. So it's unfortunate. And the thing is, though, the thing is, like, it's so frustrating because I was like, okay, I'm going to look to grab some NVDA around the lows of this range. And then boom, that volume spike steps in. We break out through some key resistance zones. And then now we can see that move possibly being sustained. So a good look. And unfortunately, I'm not involved from an intraday standpoint on this, but that's okay. We're not going to cry over spilled milk or anything along those lines because IBIT's climbing as well, too. So that's positive. I got right out a minute before we decided to break through that high a day here. Now positive 0.5% on IBIT. And let's see what NVDA is up here as well, too, Shreve. If we're positive on the session, oh, we're still slightly negative, only about 0.1% here, 0.2 closer as we start to pull back. But this is what I want to see, guys. We were talking about it. We've seen that volume come in, and then something additionally must have been said because now you can see we just blown through.
Yeah,
some
he's singing our praise aggressively right now.
Yeah, so
aggressively.
There we go.
I love Canada. He praised Carney multiple times, saying he ran a hell of a campaign. He respects the hell out of him. He's been following him for years as both central bank governor on this side of the pond and the other side. It's starting off on a good foot so far. I like where this is going. So far, so good. But we all know how these Donald Trump interviews or press conferences can go. They're wild cards, baby. So we'll see exactly how it all ends up being. But so far, so good right now. And, we want to get a deal done, man. Like, we want to get deals done. Let's move this along. Let's make it mutually beneficial. Everybody wins, We both rely on each other, whether the posturing is, whether the words being said during the posturing denotes that or not. I happen to love America, very much so. A lot of relatives there, and I want to get things done. So I'm obviously a little bit emotionally involved in this. And, whatever the situation is, Joseph, I like where it's starting. I like where it's going so far. What do you got, my man?
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, to add to your point, I think a big part of the reason why Carney got elected is because the older vote, like that he was going to deal with these tariffs firsthand, like first on and everything. And I don't think that's something that Pierre really touched on. He was more about the independence of Canada and everything along those lines. And voters didn't like that. They want to take care of these tariffs because, like Shreve said, we are really, really interconnected, and that's displaying here. So hopefully these two can get along and we can come to somewhat of a conclusion.
Yeah, he's like, we're protecting it. Yeah, so he's going through his lines right now. All right, guys, we'll leave that reporting to Adara. Adara, again, if you want to interrupt, just hit that Donald Trump animation because I'm listening to it as well. So we won't be able to hit the production. I won't be able to hear the production team that quickly. All right, guys, we're doing well on some, not so well on others. Let's start with the ones that we're doing well on. Where is it? Where's my TDUP? For TDUP, we got 10s on. We just took out 20s. I've wet the beak multiple times. I didn't get the add there at 603, but I had already added into that. So my next beak wetter on this one, 26s, $6.26. Here comes 24. Not a bad look. Also involved in UPWK. Have good amount of shares on this one. Where are we long? We're long 72s. We just took out 88s. Now the next peak wetter 93s, and I'm front running 16, and then a little bit above 16 should we reclaim the level. This was a good volume weighted average price hold here on UPWK. Whoa, the press is... They're like ravenous, bro. The press is just ravenous right now. They want to get a question, and everyone's talking over each other. So very aggressive press conference. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of questions and a lot of answers there. All right, just took some more out here on UPWK as it wicked up into 94s. Please, this dang punch. Let's keep an eye on that. The ones that are not doing that well, let's just be honest about it right now. This one, KIDZ, started off real well on this one. I was putting out a theory that 680 area would hold. Alas, it is kind of at 680, but the actual level itself is giving way. So what do I have on KIDZ right now? KIDZ, I got 84s. It's showing me 77, so I'm a little bit out of the money on this one. My stop is below that 60 penny level. It will have to hold $6.60 for me to stay involved. And my worst one so far is here, EVGO. Now, this one did come in to the volume weighted average price, and we have a 3-candle hold at the volume weighted average price. I'm waiting for this one to give me something other than lower lows and lower highs. Right now, it's not. So it started out really well, started off very strong, but now it's at a critical level. It has to hold this level. This is the volume weighted average price. I don't mind aggressively adding at this level to have a better cost basis, but it's going to have to prove to me that this level is one that it's going to hold at. I won't get in otherwise, so I'll keep my eye out on that. Back to KIDZ here. I'm seeing multiple bottoming tail candles come in. Where's my KIDZ? Come in. So that we've got 2 candles here that have bottoming tails into 670. They've all been bought up. Let's see if this can work its way back up and continue to put in those higher lows that we got. Like, this is a higher low all the way through. So let's see if that wants to hold or not. He's showing around the Oval Office.
Okay.
He's showing portraits of George Washington, and the press is, yeah, they're asking him all sorts of questions. Hold on. Yeah. They're asking him about Bessent today, because Bessent did testify in front of the House, and he said that there were no discussions with China. So a reporter is asking him, like, how come Bessent's saying that no reporters, how come Bessent's saying that there's been no discussions with China? So Donald's answering him now. Go ahead.
There we go. Okay, yeah, good stuff there, Sharif. So we got a lot of super chats coming in here. Thoughts on CoreWeave Inc. Ticker, CRWV. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Something must have not so positive have been said. As you can see, we take a little bit of a dive there. CRWV, I believe it is. Yeah, there we go. Let's take a look at CoreWeave. So yeah, I mean, today put in an absolute stellar session. There's no denying that. We're not going to beat around that bush. All right, we're going to go to Adair, guys.
Sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button. I'm already here. So here is the NASDAQ dropping here after Donald Trump said that China is not doing business right now, but they want to meet. Again, this directly refutes multiple comments he's made suggesting that President Xi called him personally. So he's echoing comments from Bessent.
No, that's not what he said.
Bessent said earlier that they're not in talks with China. Trump now saying they're not in talks with China, but they're basically also saying here that I guess China wants to negotiate. Now he's also saying that by not trading with China, we're losing nothing. So suggesting that the China trade relationship is not that meaningful to the U.S. Really interesting comments coming here from Donald Trump, but he keeps saying they want to meet.
I just want to add something there. He didn't say that they didn't have conversations. He said he didn't meet with Xi. He said you would have known if I met with Xi. Meeting to me means in person. And so that's obviously didn't happen. We know that Xi didn't come here. We know Donald didn't go there. So I'm pretty sure that's what he said there. No, he said he didn't meet with him, and that if he had met with him, the press would have known about it. I'm listening to it. So I'm listening right now. We'll keep an eye out on that one for you. So Donald Trump taking questions as we speak. Go ahead, Joe.
There we go. All right, so guys, see, like just as it came in, that volume, you see we spike, and then any form of negativity, goodbye. All of those gains gone, right? So that's why you got to be cautious. I'm not going to say it is definitely headline sensitivity, but don't just be chasing things. We had that breakout volume. Now we've given back the majority of that move. So don't chase. That is why when we see these volatility spikes, unless you're positioned really well, be patient for it to cool off and then look to play some trades based off of that, all right? Because now if you were to be chasing at the top of the high, say on the likes of Nvidia, you're now a couple dollars, you're about $1 out of the money on that front. If you were chasing the highs on Bitcoin, you're down 30 cents on that front. So just be cautious. And in the overall market, if you chase the Qs at that high, on that 5-minute high, you're now $3 out of the money, with no continuation to the top side, and that volume being sustained with selling pressure. So don't chase these volatility spikes. You want to wait. It's the exact same thing with FOMC. You don't want to be playing these initial reactions, wait for everything to cool off, and then find a way to participate on that front. Because what we just gained has now absolutely been obliterated and trading back towards the downside. I would not be surprised if Tesla and Palantir break these lows here, and if the Qs and the SPY break through the volume-weighted average price, I do believe there's going to be a lot more downside here in this market, especially with this Xi-Trump news.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, sorry, I'm just listening. That's I'm concentrating.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I added into kids over here. It's going to have to hold here at this level. I saw a couple of bottoming tail candles. I'm a little unsure about this one, full disclosure. So it's going to have to hold that 60 penny area for me to stay involved. But this one is starting to make me a little bit worried. So is EVGO. I think that this is the end of the trade here on EVGO. Going to flatten out here. So this will be a bit of a bigger loser for me. Full disclosure, we did add into this one with the theory that it does hold up at the volume weighted average price. That didn't happen, so we'll give a little bit back there. I'm still keeping my eye, though, on this one over here. There we go, UPWK. Added at the volume weighted average price quite aggressively. I was able to wet the beak multiple times. That one in front of 16, though, did not get filled. So this is starting to put in a bit of a level here, rejecting the 10 EMA from the south side this time. That's not exactly what I'm involved in this one for, so we'll keep tabs on that one. TDUP continues to do well, but it's also slowing down. So all the small cap gappers right now, sadly, I feel like are slowing down a little bit. Are we going up?
No, we're doing an ad read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So here we go, guys. So very, very important stuff. Traders funded by Trade the Pool have been cashing out big. We're talking 5,000, 15,000, 36,000, and even 29,000 on one trade. Here's how it works. You pay one-time evaluation fee starting at just $47. That's your total risk. Trade real shares, non-CFDs, using up to $200,000 in company capital. You keep 70% of the profits, no margin calls, no account blowups. Scan Trade the Pool QR code to get 10% off and start your journey today. Trade the Pool, guys, go check it out. If you're interested in kind of using a leverage system and not having to worry about your own account, PDT, etc. But guys, we're going up to Adara.
We have some more comments coming from Donald Trump. He said twice in the last few minutes that his announcement that he teased out it's going to happen in the next few days is not necessarily about trade. He didn't say it wasn't about trade, but he said it's not necessarily about trade. So that's on watch. It's also worth noting here that he's been said, people keep wanting you to wait out and sign deals. It's not about us signing deals. It's about the other countries signing deals. And that if he wanted, he and Howard Lutnick could just go sign a whole bunch of deals all at once. So more talk here on trade. NASDAQ trying to bounce a little bit here off that 482 level. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Dara. So yeah, guys, here you can see we're starting to get a little bit of a rebound here in the market, holding some key support levels. Let's see if that's going to hold up on the session. If not, we break them. There might be some more downside, and we have to be cautious with that. All right, so Tesla bouncing off those lows, but Palantir starting to approach that low a day, putting us down about 14%, roughly 10% of where we're currently sitting at right now. So just be cautious on your entries with this name. The volatility is most definitely in, and on that earnings report high, this is what I was referring to, and I wanted to point out to you guys, 127 or 130, we're going to call it even, and that's where we had the highest levels of open contracts. And then now you can see that flush, and we haven't been able to gain that ground back. So there you go. Pay attention to the options chain and what it has to tell you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, keeping my eye here still on these bad boys. Still UPWK not doing a whole lot. It's kind of slowed down. Someone was telling me FOXO, so I did have a bit of a look at that one. I also want to look at Pony. Pony's basically at highs right now. Let's look at FOXO first. So I want to explain kind of why I didn't want to get involved in this one. It's got a really interesting pattern here. It seems to be finding support on the 50 EMA on the 5. Not something that I typically see with these ones. They don't usually find support at the 50 EMA, or that's been my observation. This one seems like it is. So it's not the trade that I want to take, but an observation I'm making nonetheless. It also seems to have a whole lot of resistance at $2.20. Now, it did work its way up to $2.38 momentarily, but you can see it ended up closing down at $2.13. Most of the prints today on FOXO have rejected $2.20. So this one could be kind of a flat top break brewing. Kind of hard to say. It's also halted a number of times. Let me just show you over here. So it did halt up once, twice. It had 2 down halts over here and then a third, 1 up halt over here, another down halt, up halt, up halt, down halt. You get it. It's been halting within a range. Kind of annoying there. So I wouldn't be so interested in trading this one. The one that I want to keep my eye on is Pony, man. Pony has been very, very respectful right now of that 10 EMA on the 5. It's at it right now. It just dipped into it into the 12 mid-80s. Right back up into 13 it goes with a 13.35 high a day. This one I could certainly be persuaded to get into PONY, one that we already know because we've been watching this one for, I think, over a week now, and does have a good headline with some big names. So keeping an eye on that. I'm going to load that one up on a trading screen. All right, KIDZ, we got 65s. We just wet the beak there. Or excuse me, we added at 55s, wet the beak there at 62s, waiting for the next print at 69s. This one is a hammer candle off the volume weighted average price. Let's see if it holds, man. I didn't get that 69 print yet. Let's go ahead and wait at 74s, and we're also going to wait at 79s as well. I'm going to just layer my orders in case this one really gets gangster and wants to pop up to the high side. So KIDZ coming into the volume weighted average price, holding for now, underline that for now. CoreWeave as well. Before I go on to something else, is at the volume weighted average price, that $52, $53 area, 52 high 90s, which is also an area of resistance. Carney now talking. He hasn't been talking much if at all because Donald's been basically taking the majority of the mic time so far, and he doesn't really say much either when he does speak. So questions are still being posed to Donald here. We'll keep tabs on that, Joseph. Those are the positions I'm currently in.
Okay, nice work there. Yeah, guys, so we're back into some IBIT. See if things have started to cool off for us and we can continue. So our risk profile is really defined. If we crack this to the downside, then I'm going to assume that we might head in towards the volume weighted average price. If not, we can hold this steady. We're probably holding the 9 and the 20 relatively well here on the session. So there we go. If we can crack through some of these pivots, then I think we're going to be sitting pretty good. And so let's look at it from a risk to reward standpoint and what we got going on. We'll pull up the old trusty tool here, guys. So you can see where my stop loss is currently sitting at. That's going to be our stop right there. And then we aim for this high of the day, which would roughly put us at a 2-to-1 there. So about a 10-cent stop, looking for a 20-cent move here at that crack of the high day. And if we continue to climb higher and appreciate, then there will be an opportunity to add in some key areas that we break there. So you can see that pivot, we crack that, then that can be a potential add, increasing your 2-to-1 to maybe a 2.5 or a 3-to-1, something along those lines. So we just got to be patient. It breaks that low, 53.65. We're out of that trade. It's a thesis invalid, and then we can reassess and then potentially get a better price. All right. So that's the game plan, guys. Speaking, just telling you what is going through my mind, and we're doing it live as always. Someone in the chat asked, "Are we live?" Of course, we are always doing it live, and that's our game plan. So you can see we're hovering around, just moving sideways right now. If the big tech gets a pop, Nvidia sustains this move here and starts to climb back towards that volatility spike, then I think we're going to be sitting in a good position. We crack 53.80. There's also another add position there as well, so I'm going to be keeping my eye out on this one and monitoring what we got going on in Bitcoin. Now, we got a $20 super chat. It's Sweet Water. All right. I might not know much about politics, but I know that when the printer breaks, everyone just kind of stands around and talks about their weekend. Great show as always. All right, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, much appreciated. Sharif and I here every day, as well as Obi. He's here, Neil and Sean. Brando Adair always doing a fantastic job at the desk. So much love and much appreciated. But let's go Bitcoin. Still positive on the day. You can see we're starting to take a leg down. We're only about $1 away from that low on Palantir, so we'll keep an eye out on that. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any continuation in NVDA here, guys, as we start to head towards that low of the range. If we crack 53.65, I'm out of this trade, Sharif.
All right. I don't know why this Dylan Waltman guy is getting upset about the beak wet or something. I don't know why. It tilted him a little bit.
Where is he?
I don't know. All right, guys. KIDZ, I'm really unsure about how this one is all gonna go. So it's losing the bid right now, but it's trying to hold VWAP with some bottoming tail candles at that level, but it continues to sell off aggressively. It's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candle setup net right now on KIDZ. It can't catch a bid for the life of it, so I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. I did sadly get wicked out of CoreWeave over here at the volume weighted average price. That one is a little bit frustrating because I think I have the right idea on this one. Let's see if it holds. I could be certainly persuaded to get back in. It's exactly what I'm going to do. So there we go. We're back into that. Oh, we're not actually. That's frustrating. All right, so we're going to get back into this one. There we go. Now we're involved in that. So let's go ahead and put in our stop. And what do we have here? So we've got 17s on. So let's set some profit takers on this one for 25s, and then we'll layer the orders to the high side. So I'm going to put below prior bar low. So prior bar low takes us all the way down to about 52.70. So 52.69 is where we're going to stop out if it does go against us there. And then we're going to have to give it some room because this one did not trigger last time. I had to actually flatten this one out. So spready was the ticker. So that's what I'm looking at right now. CRWV. I'm in KIDZ as well. That one is continuing to kind of hold the volume weighted average price. So CoreWeave flat on that, KIDZ out of the money, TDUP and UPWK in the money, but we're not really getting those aggressive moves up. So I am a little bit concerned about that one. I didn't get into Pony because I've just got too many positions on at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and take off HIMS and put in PONY so that we can look to execute on that one if it does come in back into that technical area of support. All right, TDUP looks like it is breaking out over here. So let's have a look at this one. How many shares do I have on? Yeah, I can with the beak here. So we'll take out some there. And that one continues to kind of move up. So we'll set up the profit taker now at 29s, and then we'll layer the orders above that for a possible high of day break. So that's my look on TDUP. How we doing on the other ones here? Still nothing doing on CoreWeave or KIDZ. So KIDZ at that critical level, it's going to have to hold this level, and it continues to put in red candles despite the fact that it's got a plethora of those in a row. Doesn't really matter. Continuing to kind of print red. CoreWeave, we're about 10 pennies now out of the money as it drops back down into 53s. I did give this to prior bar low, so it's going to have to hold up here. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm in some, I'm still sitting in this IBIT trade, guys. I told you where we're going to potentially add to that position, and we've done so. I could have maybe added about a minute earlier, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about this because if we are going to go for this crack of the high, then we'll be sitting pretty good, right? So you can see this is the initial entry. I told you once we sat on top of this resistance zone, that's a potential add territory to go for that high a day. If not, if we break down, then I have to get out a couple pennies earlier because now my average is higher just due to the fact that I added. So if we come to the low of this range, I can no longer hold it to the south of this range. Now where our stop is definitely tighter, we're trailing this, and then if it comes into this zone, then we have to get out of the position. But we're starting to get a bounce here, so that's a positive sign. I like what Nvidia is up to. Going to be talking about it a lot. I've been referring to the swing position that I have on it. I had shares and now I have contracts. So I mean, if this thing really gets the ball rolling, then I'm going to be a happy camper. There's no questioning that. So again, what we kind of stopped in the middle of what we were going over with the open interest here on this name. So I just want to go through the teen strike prices just to see the amount of size we're actually dealing with here, and it's quite a bit. So we're going to start at 113. 23,000, and this is on the call side. Unless I say I'm talking about the puts, I want to refer to the call side always, because if you're long, you want to find where that overhead resistance may be. So we're going to go from 113, even though at the 12s there's quite a bit, 113, 23,000, 114, 17,000, 115, 37,000, and then we go all the way up to the higher teens here, 16, 15,000, 17, 29,000, and then 18, 19 is where 18, 19, and 20 is where we really start to see that size increase with 80,000 contracts at 119 and 87 current open contracts at that 120. So what is that telling us? That is potentially max pain here in the market. Can we get that at magnet effect? Absolutely. But if we get around those levels, I'm going to be looking for the rejection of 119 and 120, but I'm not saying we're going to get there exactly. All right. So now let's go over the put side and see what potential downward movement and support levels we might be able to establish here on NVDA. So 112. We have 13,000 open contracts. Now moving down to 110, 27,000 open contracts, and then 105, 22,000 open contracts. So you can kind of see we don't have those high double-digit numbers on the put side like we do on the call side. And what that's telling me is that there is significant overhead resistance, and that is a lot of supply. So we're going to need participants to absorb that supply in order for us to continue to appreciate and break through some key zones, Sharif.
All right, we're talking about the 51st date again. Carney's laying down the law. He's like, look, Canadians, they don't like this, okay? They're not going to change their position on that. Stop saying it. Basically, he didn't say, I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, Donald's listening as he's talking. He's not reacting, which is, you know, this is exactly what I expected from Carney. Even keel. He's an even keel kind of guy, right? You're not going to rattle his cage too quick. At least that's been my observation of him so far. Howard Lunatic was also speaking not that long ago, speaking about some of these trade deals. So that's the situation. All right, guys, we're doing it freaking live here on CoreWeave. We got 17s. We just took out 45. So a decent look, finally getting a nice dub here on our friend CoreWeave. But we're not really that much in the money, man, full disclosure. So it's going to have to move up a lot more for this to be profitable. So let's go ahead up and set up at 55s. We can extract some there. And then we'll set up some more also in the low 60s. So that's my look right now on CRWV as it holds a volume weighted average price. Same thing with KIDZ, also multiple bottoming tails through that volume weighted average price, but it is holding on a 3-candle basis. Let's see if it ends up triggering my order on this one. Looking for prints to the high side on my friend on KIDZ. I'm not going to give you guys another opportunity. TDUP also continuing to curl up. Happy with this one. We got 09s here on KDU or TDUP. It's showing me 30s. The next level I'm waiting at is 33s. So let's see if this one continues to run now. It's got 33s on the level 2 here on the ask sides. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting that filled. Now on TDUP, yeah, we still got more beak wetters. Let's see if that 39 print goes. And then on top of that, we're going to go high 40s for the last beak wetter on TDUP. Let's see if it continues to go here. Let's go with the bigger position, though. Let's see what this one is up to on CRWV. Show me 29s, 25s now. This one holding VWAP, but not exactly breaking up aggressively to the high side as one would have hoped for a bounce off VWAP. So trying to pack my patience and not take out too much too quick on both KIDZ and CRWV. Looking for that volume weighted average price hold and pop. But yeah, as I mentioned, nothing doing quite yet. UPWK, I could flatten this trade out here because it did hold VWAP, but it looks like it is rejecting now the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute from the south side. And that's not what I'm in this for. So on you, we got 71s. We're showing 76. That's the end of the trade over here on UPWK. It's kind of hard to manage 4 at the same time. And that is the least one that I'm worried about with very little size. And it looks like it is making lower highs and lower lows. So flattening out that one. All hell is breaking loose right now in the press conference. All the press is talking over each other. You can't even hear who's asking what. Donald's chuckling. Carney's chuckling. Is this over? Did they mute it, Adara? Oh, no, there we go. Now we're back. So they muted it for a second. Yeah, nothing's happening quite yet. So
Did Trump say anything when Carney made the 51st state remark?
I didn't get to hear because I was talking. Dara, go ahead.
So earlier, if you don't mind me cutting in, when
yeah,
in the 51st state, Donald Trump talked about how he's a real estate agent at heart, and so he knows how to buy or sell things like, I guess, properties and countries. Carney's response, very measured, as Sharif said, was, well, as you know, some things aren't for sale. That as a real estate agent, like this building in Canada is and will never be for sale. And then Trump said, never say never, time will tell. So that's what happened. That was his first response to that issue. The most recent one, I think he kept quiet, but we know what his opinions are. Right now, they're just kind of silently sitting in the room. And then Trump just said, thank you very much. Looks like this might be over.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. I do appreciate that. Yeah, it's exactly what I expected. I didn't think that there were going to be any, highlight reel moments. Carney's just not that kind of guy. Yeah, he's a technocrat. You know what I mean? He's an even keel kind of technocrat. You're likely not going to rattle his cage. So, yeah, that's the situation. It is now over, I believe. Obviously, we could get more Truth Social tweets after this. We already got one to start. He kind of set the tone there that, he didn't need Canada, this, that, and the other. I'm talking about Truth Social tweet he dropped before the meeting with Carney that I read out to you guys live. So, yeah, we'll definitely wait to see if Donald drops anything anew. Right now, it is over for now, so we'll have to wait and see how this market reacts. It looks as if, we didn't really, we're not in positive territory right now on any of the four major averages, Joseph. Down 2/3% on the NQ, 0.5% on the ES, a little bit more than half on the Dow, and about 3/4 on the Rust. So the market's still negative on the day. That has not changed. So we'll see exactly how we do into the afternoon. All right, the current trades we've got on, TDUP looking real good over here, but still rejecting that $6.40 area. I perceive there to be quite a bit of resistance at 640 on TDUP. We'll have to see if that gets taken out. UPWK is a done trade. KIDZ is going to have to hold VWAP here. It has on a 4-candle basis, but it's not giving me that move up. So I'm trying to pack my patience on this one. Break even currently at the moment on it. And CRWV, 4-candle hold up at VWAP, doing nothing, not popping back up above that level. So this one does concern me a little bit here as it's trading below both the 20 and the 10 EMAs, Joseph.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't listen to it, but a lot of people in the chat are saying that Trump dunked on Carney. I don't know. I'll have to
well, when you say 51st state in front of the prime minister of the country that you're saying 51st state on, you could interpret that as a dunk, but Carney's not going to take the bait, bro. He's just not that guy.
Yeah, he's not going to fall into that bait.
No.
All right, so here you go, guys. We got a nice little pop, and then we rejected. You can see on this 5-minute print right here, that's a good signal. So as soon as we crack this range, I'm going to hop out of this trade. And yeah, so there you go, broke down, market's breaking down, Bitcoin's following it as well. So I'm out of this right now. See you later. That trade didn't work out. That's okay. So let me see if I can get out of this. There we go. Okay, yeah, so we're out. We didn't get that continuation nor that crack to the high side. So a sideways moving market, I guess, for the past little bit. We were trending earlier in the session, but now Bitcoin's breaking down because that has a lot to do with Canada and the United States. But here we go. That was sarcasm, obviously, if you didn't know. So there. Yeah.
Get him, Obi.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't know. But yes, nothing. Okay, so here we go. Sideways here in Tesla. And then you can see this really ugly head and shoulders type pattern on the overall market here. You got shoulder 1 head and then potentially shoulder 2. If you're buying the bottom of this range, then that's probably going to be your best idea. You don't want to play the breakout trades today because I don't think those are necessarily in play, and you want to be cautious on that front. So lots of sideways chop around here. Again, we have FOMC tomorrow, I believe it is, at 2 o'clock. So there you go. This can explain some sideways price action. Come 2 o'clock, don't be looking to get involved right away. Let the volatility cool out, and then you can base trades off of that. But that's something that's going to be positive. As the VIX has been cooling off for the past little while, we're going to get an additional volatility spike come tomorrow, and then we can definitely base trades off of that, Shreve.
Yes, sir. Okay. Continuing to watch CoreWeave here, it's not looking good, guys. It doesn't look like it's going to hold VWAP. It did pop back into 20s. As you saw, I moved down my order to 20s, and it didn't fill given the spread. So I'm a little concerned about CRWV right now. I don't have as many shares on CRWV as I do on KIDZ, which is pleasing because KIDZ finally, oh my goodness, took out a level for me there. So we got 63s on now. The level that I'm waiting for next, you already know, 69s, and then 74s, then 77s, and then 84s there. So we'll see if this one wants to continue moving up. It's got a 4-candle higher low, higher high setup on KIDZ, but by no means is it as strong as it was in the earlier time slot when the moves up were quite aggressive and quite sustained? It has not been that case for a little while now on KIDZ. So keeping my eye on that one. Definitely have way more shares in this one than I typically do. So that is the situation right now. Same thing with CRWV, more shares than I typically have, but nowhere near the size that I have on KIDZ. The one that I'm keeping my eye on right now as well, again, PONY as it continues to trade near highs, but TDUP. This is the one that we've been in for a while. It's been a predictable, consistent trade, having trouble though, that $6.40 area on this attempt and on many other attempts. You'll be able to see these wicks here that go above that 640 area and then are met with aggressive selling. That's where I picked it up originally, and it continues to have trouble with that area. Now, is it an ascending wedge in the sense that we can say maybe this is a flat top break candidate? It could be. I mean, you can kind of see the higher low, higher low, flat top pattern, but this is kind of where it puts a damper on that. We didn't get up to 640 on that implied balance high. Best we could do is 622. So the 640 area was more around here. So I'm less inclined to want to call it a flat top break. We'll see what we get there. Let's keep an eye out on KIDZ, moving back up into 69s. Now showing me 69s. On the ask side of the level 2, 67's on the bid, so it's got to cross for me to get printed. Now it's showing me 70 and then 68, still not getting the print. There it is. Now we get the print at 69s. We've got 62s on. Let's see if that 74 penny area would like to print as well. So good look right now for KIDZ, finally heading back to the high side over here. We'll see if we can extract some more profitability on this one a little bit higher. Don't want to take out too much too quickly. It's got a 710 high. So if we can get anything possibly into that, mid 80s or something like that, it'll certainly help me out a bunch. Let's see if we can extract some profits over here. It just got into 75s. Didn't cross, as a result, didn't get the print. So, yeah, that's the situation there. PONY, let's go back to PONY here, Joseph. So this one looks like a couple of bull flags here, more than a couple, perhaps 3. So this is the first breakout here. You get that breakout off that $10 area hold, great area to hold up at. You range at $11, so that's already $1 there. For a bull flag continuation. Then you get the monster break from $11. I would submit to you, we started the consolidation area, the flag component of the bull flag between 12.5 to 12 2/3. So a big move up by Pony. Then you got yet another bull flag, a lot more similar to the first one than the second one. So this looks like an Elliott wave, man, where you have that initial wave 1, and then you have a pullback of wave 2. Then we know from our lessons when we did them on Elliott waves that wave 3 is the biggest and the baddest of all the waves. And this is kind of what it looks like over here, because bull flag number 1 and bull flag number 3 look awfully similar to one another, while bull flag number 2 is just a monster. So good look right now for PONY. Got nothing on it, but that doesn't mean we can't get into it if it sets up the right way. Very consolidative at this level, and has been so since we got up into this level at around 12 o'clock. So going on 45 minutes right now of range at that level. All right, we got a couple of prints here on our friend KIDZ as it moved up into the mid-70s. Let's see if it'll continue moving up here. Joseph, take some more out here.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, market's starting to pull back in here. Tesla is south of the volume-weighted average price, and the Qs are running right into it. The SPY is now south of VWAP, and Nvidia is heading towards it as well, too. You're getting that breakdown here in Bitcoin, so that is important to know via the crypto space. So the weakness coming into play, and none of that strength has been sustained. And yesterday was choppy, too, right? We closed roughly around PDC, so if we're going about 2 sessions ago, that's roughly where we closed at. So again, a lot of nothing, and then we're going to zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint in the overall market, just to kind of get a better picture, right? So when in doubt, zoom out, I guess, as they would like to say. And you can see we had a nice recovery off of the lows, and now we're starting to pull back, all right? So that's not bad. It's a healthy pullback, but we are running into some resistance areas, so we've got to take note of that. But a nice V-shaped recovery. If we consolidate within this, I guess, 20-point range here on the NASDAQ, then maybe we can break out and continue this move and start to recover some of that. But again, lots of headwinds for this market, and we need to always keep an eye on what's coming. When we have meetings like today between Mark Carney and Donald himself, you can see that volatility most definitely stepped into the market, and then you can base a short or whatever it may be, whatever your bias is after those prints come in. And that's going to be the same thing for tomorrow come 2 o'clock. And then once Jerome Powell starts speaking around 2:30, like he usually does, then we will be able to make some trades. That's what I usually do. So once 2 o'clock comes and then we get that initial reaction, I usually like to wait a half hour, 45 minutes before basing any trades off of that. And that's what I'm going to plan on going to do. I'm going to go in and plan for tomorrow, just to get my mind right and straight to say, hey, we're going to get this volatility. Go small size throughout the earlier session. If there is some sideways price action, calm that volatility spike 2 o'clock. Then we wait another half an hour or so, and then there's hopefully going to be some good trades that we can make. But just speaking of earnings, guys, I know we talked about AMD, but let's go over some expected moves on a couple other names. I know SMCI is this evening as well too. SMCI, so hopefully they can report on time or something like that. But RIVN and ANET. So let's take a look at what we got going on from an implied move, and we will start with SMCI. There we go. So about a 10.3 expected move here, guys. That can put us at a high of around 35. We'll call it 36 even, and then a low of around $29. Now let's take a look at the options chain to see if we have anything that's correlated with that expected move and high levels of open interest, so we can base some theses based off of that. Base one more time. Okay, so 35, and let's take a look at that strike. And then if you guys can pull up your options chain, take a look at that 35 strike price, 29,000 open contracts. So if we trade anywhere in the realm of that area, then maybe I'll look for a rejection, unless that momentum and volatility just brings us way past that expected move and past this high level of resistance. And on that front, okay, so what was next? RIVN, RIVN. Okay, so about a 10.9% expected move. That's going to put us at a high of around $14 and a low of around $11. Let's take a look at the options chain to see what that's telling us, and if there's a correlation between what the options market is telling us and the chain. RIVN. Oh, why am I spelling it wrong here?
What happened?
RIVN. Nothing.
Okay.
RIVN, there we go. So again, we want to look around that $14, $15 strike price, 6,000. At 15.5, we got 12,000 open contracts. And then on the downside there, 11, 12, we'll call it 12 even, 11,000 open contracts right at that 12 strike price on RIVN. And that's for this week's expiration, right, guys? So that's what you want to focus on to see what it's telling you. And then come Friday and then Monday morning, you can see if those contracts have rolled over, and you'll be able to identify those support and resistance zones.
Yes, sir. All right. Keeping an eye here. I just actually got into Pony for the first time on the day. So where do we belong here? Joseph, what do we get on PONY? We got 13s. Uh-oh. That's no good. Let's set up some beak wetters here to the high side. Looks like it's having a lot of trouble with 20. So if we could de-risk in front of that and then look for some higher sides there. All right, we already got a print there. Not a bad look so far. Let's see what PONY has to offer at these levels. It's been kind of respectful of the 10, so we'll take advantage of that. Anything below 13, though, I'll have to stop out of that. CoreWeave, we'll break even on that at the moment as it's back up into 20s. Still no prints, though, to the high side. KIDZ concerning me, though. I've got a lot of shares in this one, way more than I typically take, and now it's putting in a possible lower low. So it's making its move back up. It had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candle higher low. And here we go, the same nonsense again. So it does find some support off the volume weighted average price. But I'm going to de-risk substantially here because I am kind of sick of nursing this trade. So no, that's not what we want there. We're going to take up all those, and then we're going to take out the majority of the position here. If we can get it. It's not giving even the mid print. I'm not even getting the mid print. So liquidity on KIDZ is absolute crap today for a $6 name. It's just it doesn't have it. So kind of frustrating on this one. Hard to get out when you want to get out. Back to PONY, took a couple of prints there as it does continue to the high side here in the mid-20s. 13 mid-20s, we got 13s, just got filled there at 23s. Let's go ahead and set up more to the high side there, so we have one in the mid-20s. Let's set up one in the high 20s and then one in the mid-30s as well. So they're kind of convoluted there between each other because it's on the 5 and they're all super tight and condensed. Jesus Christ, this kid's is driving me nuts, bro. It's just not filling me. It's just not filling me, bro.
Kids tend to do that.
That's a good one. Way to make me chuckle, and I'm gonna kill this turn. Yeah, KIDZ. Yeah, it definitely doesn't have the oomph that it had behind it today. Maybe because it's only up 5%. That's probably why. There are no love for KIDZ today. I'll keep tabs on that. TDUP, I haven't said much about because, well, we're in the money on this one, and I don't really have to worry about it as much. I only got a couple of B quitters as well left on this one. Oh, my God, KIDZ. You can't even get out flat. I'm losing my patience today, bro. I'm literally losing my patience. So, yeah, I'm going to have to woosah. All right, CRWV, Packer will try to have some patience on this one. But Pony breaking out to the high side. All right, that one makes me feel a little bit better. Monster move up for Pony. We had 13s on. We just took out all my beak wetters there. High a day just printed on PONY, 1354. We got a second possible bull flag continuation here. I'll submit to you we've had 3 so far. The first one started at 10:55. Then the second one started at 11:20. And the third one started at 12 o'clock. Could we get a fourth one right now starting at 12:55? We just took out all my orders on PONY to the high side, so I've got nothing left on this one. We'll keep an eye out on it. If it sets up again at 13, I'm a buyer, but I don't know if it drops all the way back down. 13.54 the high, 38% with a $13 area support. Now, it has breached it on occasion. Like, it's gone down, I would say, from the time that we took out 13 at around 12 o'clock. The low of that range is 1284. So it didn't breach 13 by that much, in other words. So if you're going to get into this one, maybe a 15 penny stop, max 20, to give yourself a little bit of room. PONY looking the best of the bunch right now. Joseph, what do you got?
Thank you very much for that. Okay, so let's take a look here at what potential setups we have as we continue to bleed in the market. I mean, IBIT's starting to come back in towards the volume-weighted average price, and same with NVDA. Those were what I was looking at, but it wasn't what I stuck with my notes. I seen. Let me pull up my Notion here for you guys just to see what my brain was going at this morning, or thinking around. Anyways, Palantir and FXI were my 2 #1 ideas, and we tried Palantir. It just didn't work out for us. That's okay. But yeah, FXI was really strong today. We'll pull that up here so we can take a look, and I'm curious if that strength has been continued throughout the session here. Oh, okay, so we came back a little bit. We pulled back in here on FXI, but that primary trend, see, one thing to note, and I want us to focus on this right here, so you can see how the volume-weighted average price started to hug price action relatively tighter, and therefore the pullbacks weren't as deep. We weren't as extended from VWAP like in the likes of the Qs and the SPY. It trailed FXI relatively well. Now, if we pull up the Qs, you can see how extended at one point we got here. Oops. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it right now, brother. All right, there we go. So
just pack your patience.
Yeah, you got to pack. Yeah, I got to pack those for sure. I mean, here we go. You can see at one point we were relatively extended streak, and now you can see that we pulled back in. And I was going to call this a head and shoulders pattern, but it's not. It's not a good looking one whatsoever. So we'll just avoid that. If you have to force the setup, then it's not potentially there. So there you go. Negative on the day, just about 1%, and now trading below VWAP. I'm going to look for a potential bounce here in NVDA at the bottom of these ranges, because at 112 we do have a lot of open interest on the put side, and that can act as some support, and we're trading around 112.63, and it's almost to a T streak. As you can see, we've touched it multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like again on the 5-minute candle, you can see 3 touches right there, multiple touches right here, and multiple touches right here off of that 1261 specific level. So we'll continue and look for that bounce. If it breaks it to the downside, then maybe we can get into the volume-weighted average price. But that's also adding up with some pre-market highs. As you can see, we have a consolidation zone in that specific range as well too. So that gap has been filled. It wasn't even a gap. That they wick filled it, and then we just continued to bleed off, and then we got some filled on some contracts. But you can see just still roughly trading within that same range as yesterday. Opening price is exactly where we're trading at right now. A couple pennies off of that there, Sharif. That's yesterday's opening price, that is. And then we appreciated, and then in the post market we sold off, and then we just came right back within this range. So a nice consolidation range right here, holding up key levels really well, and you can see these whipsaw moves are just getting bought right back up.
All right, Yannick telling me that Reddit coming back into support Reddit falling into support. That's what he said there. I'm not sure what you're looking at, brother. What area of support are you talking about? Are you talking about this hammer candle over here back from the 30th, which had a low of 121.81? Excuse me, that doesn't make any sense. The low of 108.50, excuse me, 108.50. Is that what you're talking about? Because we got a low of 109 today on Reddit. Tag me again, Yannick, because I'm not sure exactly what you're looking at there. Are you talking about this area low, again, back on the 30th at around 108, yeah, 108.50. I think that's what you're talking about. This could be an interesting area here on RDDT. A bit more of expensive and of a name. Obviously, I won't be trading this. It's not really my cup of tea. But that area over here did hold up on the 30th, and then we ended up having an aggressive retracement. So off that 108.50 area low, we ended up closing out at about 121 bucks. So not a bad look for Reddit. Definitely a bit of a tougher look these last few days after the first, was that earnings report? Yeah, so it looks like an earnings report there after the bell. And then lower lows and lower highs subsequent to that. So it gave up the entire move. In fact, it got all the way up into 142, and now we're barely holding on to 110 with a, yeah, so he's looking at the 108 as well. Shout out to Yannick. Yeah, it's a good look, Yannick. I mean, this is not really my kind of trade, but yeah, I certainly see where you're seeing the technical area of support very close. It technically has a 109 on the dot low of day today, so it hasn't given up that level quite yet. So maybe it holds up at 109. Maybe it doesn't make it back down to that 108.50. Let me know how you end up trading this, Yannick, but definitely, certainly not for me at these levels over here. What else we got involved? Okay, let's go back to Pony, because this is the one that continues to print. Still holding up at the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Currently, the 10 EMA is around 13.15. Current price, 13.38. So you're well above the 10 EMA, but you range, at least my observation for Pony is that it ranges and then it explodes to the high side. You can kind of see that over here. It did a little bit of a range here, about a 20-minute range, popped up to the upside. Again, over here, from around 11:30 to that breakout at 12 o'clock, it did range. And yet again, it's kind of doing that same thing with $13 area low, and now it's near the highs at 13.43, with the high of the day being 53, excuse me. So what I mean to say is try to pick it up towards the low end of the range. If it's showing you over and over and over that it's bull flagging, ranging, which is obviously part of the bull flag, pick it up towards the low end, maybe 13 mid-teens. If you really want to get aggressive with it, maybe even low 20s. So fantastic look today on PONY, up 38 and change. But at the moment, a little bit high for me. I need to pick it up off a key level. And that's kind of what I did there. I got it 13.10s last time, so it was towards that 13 area range. And I had my stop below that 12.85 area, which was the range low. It continues to make higher highs and higher lows on every successive 5-minute candle. So all the last 4 5-minute candles, each and every one has a higher low. Not necessarily higher highs, but they have higher lows. So PONY in play. Just make sure you are trading it carefully. Haven't said anything about TDUP because, yeah, it hasn't really given me an opportunity to get more in, and it didn't trigger my order there at 40. So TDUP, I still feel, has a bit of a resistance area at $6.40. We're printing a quarter right now while we're long 8. So I don't think I enter anything here more on TDUP unless it comes back into the volume weighted average price, which currently is around six bucks. So possibly another add here at $6. I did add at 6.08, as you can see there. But for the moment, nothing for me there. Let's look at CoreWeave. That's the other one we're involved in. Where is it at? There it is. Here we go back up to 53, but it's a series of lower highs every time here on CoreWeave. So it is concerning me, guys. I mean, we do pop up above the volume weighted average price, and then we keep rejecting. There we go. We just got a whole bunch of prints there to the high side on CRWV. What's our cost basis now? So we've got 03s. True to form, it prints me right back down into 53.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a good thing, but yeah, I know. I know you're focusing on something else. Done that before. It print me in the high teens, low 20s, and then drops right back down. What concerns me about CRWV is that you keep seeing it hanging out at VWAP, but when on closer inspection, you can kind of see the incrementally lower lows and the incrementally lower highs. It's not very obvious if you zoom out, but it does become obvious if you look at a candle per candle look there. So CRWV, you know, we'll see. My stopped in trigger, and we just got a bunch of prints to the high side. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one, Joe.
Yeah, good look there, brother. If you want to do the playmaker poll, it's time
absolutely.
For that. Yeah. We'll fire that, man.
We've been
we got a little bit. We
didn't do yesterday.
We didn't do. I documented yesterday.
You did? Okay,
Yeah. I did yesterday's. You went to the washroom, so I just wrote it down quick. Yeah. I'm like, all right, I want to get that in. But yeah, we've been.
Are we going long or short?
We're going long.
Okay.
Going long, and we're doing it live.
Let me know. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
I need some positivity.
Yeah,
here.
honestly, straight up,
all right,
bro.
Let's go.
559.84.
559.84.
561.84 is profit taking.
Bang.
And then 558.84 we're out.
558.
Yeah, let's find out how this cookie crumbles, baby.
Let's go. There it goes. Number 89 there, guys.
Oh,
almost at 90, almost 100. What should we do for the Century Party, man?
That's a good question.
The Century Party,
That's
we
a good
definitely need to get in there.
Well, we're in the money, right?
We're in the money, man. We're climbing nice. Yeah. I mean, look at this here, guys. And then there you go. Like this is like Bansky type stuff over here, if you ask me.
Guy's feeling his data.
Yeah,
I feel like you're like a statistician or something.
This is our data, man. This is our data and what we've done.
Bro.
So once again, guys, for those who aren't familiar, and I'm sure a lot of you are, we've been tracking data. We're just kind of going with like not necessarily a discretionary type of aspect with trading. We're like, okay, let's see if we can find something that works, like an algorithmic type trading. We enter a trade at 1 o'clock, and then we're looking for a 2-to-1 profit target. Whether it doesn't matter what time, but at 1:55 we get out, no matter where the position lands or stands. So what we're looking for is a 2-to-1 profit target. We risk $100 to make $200. Our max loss is $100, and our max profit is always going to be $200, regardless of what the underlying asset, aka SPY, is doing in that front, brother.
All right, guys. Marcus, let me just make sure I get his name right here. Go to fan funding. Marcus, oh, goodness gracious, it's been that kind of day. Marcus Steven Johnson, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Marcus, for that. I ran out of Molson's. It's only Tuesday CDE gold. Only Tuesday. I don't know what any of that means. Molson's, it means you're done drinking. And it's only Tuesday CDE gold. Do you know what this means?
I have no idea.
I don't know either, brother. And I'm not very smart, so I do apologize. You're going to have to explain yourself. But thank you for the $2 super chat. Did you cover Sweetwater's $20 super chat?
We did, yes.
You're good to go on that. All right, sounds good, man. All right, we're gonna go to Adara. She's got news at the big desk.
I'm assuming he's talking about beer. He ran out of beers. It's only
that's what I figured, but I don't understand what it's only Tuesday CDE gold.
Well, he's been drinking, so he obviously it doesn't make that sense.
Let's just check what the CDE is.
Gold.
Oh, it's mining. Okay, here it is.
Okay,
it's a gold
there we
miner.
go.
Core Mining, it's about sorry, Adara, 1 second. $3.6 billion market cap, diversified precious metals producer company, has 5 wholly owned operations, a silver gold mine in Sonora, Mexico, and some other places in Mexico as well. So let's have a look at the daily on this one super quick before we go to Adara. It should be good. I mean, it's a gold miner. Well, it's definitely not trading with gold, guys. Definitely no overlap there. In fact, it looks the opposite. Around the top here, feels like on the daily. So we'll look at this one a little bit more when we get back from Adara.
I'm actually going to look at it more now because I just looked into this. The second I heard the CDE thing, I did look into this. CDE Gold looks like 8 million shares traded on the day. They report tomorrow after the bell. So earnings coming up here, and this is not a small capper by any means, about $2.26 billion market cap, 4.1% short float, and a 392.81 million share float. And this company's Canadian, so more light being shed there on CDE. Decent volume, as you could see here all day, guys. So far in this 15-minute candle, we've traded about 500,000 shares. Back to you.
Absolutely. Los Polios down 2K in the last 2 days, and last Friday I thought of not losing anything this week, if not winning. Yeah, I mean, it happens, man. You guys seen me lose money here live on Air Sharif and I trading. Losing that money, it happens. This is part of the game. Is just keep those risk measures in place, and then when you have something that's working out, you try to make it as profitable as possible while staying within your risk measures. And that's why this is so difficult at times. All right. So I mean, like from today's price action, it's not an easy day, right? And honestly, for me, earnings season is when I usually start to trade significantly better. But the market has been beaten up. We're kind of in this indecision type price action, and you can see that displayed here in the past couple of intraday sessions. So there it is. I mean, imagine you were just sitting in this trade. Me personally, when we're moving sideways, I'm not good whatsoever. That's when I start to kind of micromanage everything. I want to see orderly price action. And you can see the overlapping of each 5-minute candle here. Not necessarily easy. We're up, we're down, we're up, we're east, and it's tough, right? I want to find something that's trending and moving in a direction that I have a bias and a thesis built into. And you can see here the cues. Just moving 481 throughout the majority of this session here, guys. We sold off in the morning, but then we just came back right into this range, and we're currently trading at 481.99. And I'm going to assume we're going to close not too far from the opening price on today's session, because tomorrow is when that volatility is going to step in.
Uh-oh. Or like what Stevenson, or not Stevenson, who's it? Carl Geo. This pony is on something. Yeah, man, I don't know what it's on, but it keeps making higher highs. $13.60 now, the high of the day. It's not a very tight spread for a name that's traded 38 million shares on the day. I've seen it as wide as 6 pennies right now. It's 2. It's not bad, but it is bizarre. I mean, I still can't wrap my mind around how something that's done so much volume could have a wider spread. Still, somebody needs to explain that to me, man. But anyway, 1350 is where it's been hovering around. Again, my perception of this one has been it ranges, then it breaks out. So I think that the money trades here on PONY would be, try to pick it up towards the lower end of the range. But this thing keeps breaking out. It's a 1360 now high a day. It just popped up into 60 there, quick as you like. What is the previous candle low? The previous candle low is 29. The current candle low, 38. That's where I'm setting up. Let's go ahead and wait at 39. See if we can get something there. It's showing me 48, so came close to filling, but not quite there. So good look right now on PONY. How you get in, I think, really makes a difference here, because you don't want to be getting it in at the high and then have it drop 20 pennies against you and then dollar cost average, and then you may or may not end up finding a move higher. So PONY, we're putting a dip trade here for the high 30s. Let's see if it does dip in and fill us. I'm trying to base it on prior bar low. I'll give you some technical levels here for PONY. Obviously, that $0.50 will be some psychological resistance until we clear it. But the 10 exponential on the 5 that I really use a lot is 13.25 right now, with the 20 around 12.90, and then VWAP is far removed from the current price action. The volume weighted average price a little bit lower than 12, believe it or not. Looks like 11.88 is where VWAP is currently right now on PONY. So we're really, really extended away from that area, but it's up 40%, and it really got going there midday. Like, this was not a pre-market mover in the normal sense, nor was it really exploding to the high side on the open. It really started getting going, I would say, at around 10:55. So like right before the show started. And I'm not really sure exactly why. Let's have a look at the blotter, see if there's anything new that came in for Pony at around midday. So Pony, anything over here? It's just the Uber Robo-Taxi joint venture thing in the Middle East that we reported to you guys this morning. That came in way earlier at like 8 something. No, 7:30. No, even earlier than that. Excuse me. 6:58 I'm seeing. No, I'm seeing 6:30. So this came in super early. So the fact that it's reacting to it late is a bit of it's interesting. Chuck of all trades, Pony IPO price $15. Interesting. Thank you for that, because that will be an interesting area of resistance should we make our way up to 15 on the day. Obviously, good technical area there. Ozan, my meeting's just finished. Did I miss e-signal? Very close, my friend. Don't worry about it. We always got you covered, Ozan. We know where you are at all times, and we do not do the e-signal until we confirm that you are in the chat and can enjoy the readout, of course. Shout out to my main man, Ozan, who tried to stay at my house when he does visit, apparently, Toronto in June.
He's coming.
Ozan, let us know when you are in the city, though, if you're actually coming. I don't know if you're being facetious about that. Let us know, brother, because you've been a viewer for a long time and an interesting character, to say the least. There, Joseph. What do you got?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he won't be staying at Sharif's house or mine.
You're gonna invite him?
No, I mean, hey, let's see what he's like, man. We can't just
Let's see what he's like first. He may or may not get an invite.
Yeah, he may or may not. So there you
Shout
go.
out to Ozan.
Yeah, so I mean, Ozan, if you like e-signal, I'm pretty sure you're a solid dude. So yeah, we don't got too much to worry about. Yeah, if you like e-signal, you're already set up. So there you go. All right, guys, Bitcoin heading back towards that high. Let's go. That's what we want to see here in this market. Is just the king of cryptos continuously climb higher. So you can a nice hold here. If we're gonna just draw a basic trend line, go from here to here with a nice little whipsaw move right there. But now heading back towards that high day, still positive 0.25% here on the session. Debating on trying another stab on TSLA. We formed almost a double bottom here on Tesla. So you can see we tapped into that level multiple times and we've rejected it. But the thing is, though, you got to ask yourself, do you continuously want to try to trade an underlying asset that is moving sideways? Like, look at all these candles overlapping itself here. Again, unless you're buying the bottom of the ranges and selling at the top and then selling at the top and buying back at the bottom, then by all means. But I'm a breakout trader, so I want to look out for that breakout of key resistance zones. I want to see that volume step in, and I want that momentum to really break us through those key levels that we're looking at. But Bitcoin is really, really moving, and that's a positive sign. And the same with the likes of Nvidia. So you can see this base that was formed, double bottom type price action here on Tesla, and then we've bounced off the same level here in Nvidia multiple times, approximately 6 times at the least here, Sharif. So that is a good, positive. Say positive one more time. Let's say that's something good that we want to see here. Again, I'm going to wait for that volume to kick in. Price action really choppy, moving sideways, and that is not something that I particularly like. For breakouts, I want to see that volume step in, and that's what I'm going to be patient for. And I think that's a really important skill, day trading these sideways markets.
See your friend Bud Crawford,
but yeah,
confirming the fight in September, saying, we're like, quote, in September, I'm going to show the world what greatness looks like. And but Adara, I know it's a little arrogant, but let me tell you, Adara, if you watch this guy box, I mean, he can back it up. That's the thing. Terrence Crawford's, would you say he's pound for pound right now?
Yeah, he's pound for pound.
He's pound, number one.
Yeah, there's no one better.
There's just no one better.
There's no one better in boxing. Right now.
So he's going to fight Canelo. And what I saw from Canelo on Saturday left a lot to be desired.
He's up there, though. He's
Canelo?
Up there. Yeah, he's in his mid-30s.
Oh, yeah, of course. Right? I'm not trying to put disrespect, but I'm saying the current state of Canelo
absolutely.
is...
I mean, dude, he's fought like you got to take into consideration how, like, fighting camps are so tough on your body, and for these guys to go through so many of them and then try to perform at that peak level is so difficult, especially for such a long period of time. That's why Floyd was such a black swan, I guess, right? Because he didn't really care about anything else. He just cared about boxing and money. I guess so. He did care about other things in boxing, but these boxers have a lot going on outside of just the sport itself.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that Canelo doesn't love it, because he obviously does. I mean, I remember when he signed that first contract with DAZN, it was like $300 million, and then you're like, yo, what?
It was crazy.
Crazy contract. But I mean, I think Canelo's at the tail end of his career.
Agreed.
Is it the best fight for him? I don't think so, because I think Terrence Crawford wins that one.
Oh, easily. I'm assuming here that it's kind of a payday for Canelo.
Yeah,
like maybe
that's
that
final,
right?
It's
final
like,
huge payday.
Huge payday, exactly, right? So those guys are going to make ridiculous money, probably $100 million each or something. Where does boxing get this money is what I'm curious about,
Don't you know,
to be honest with
you. You think about that a little bit more now. Who's running all these fights?
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day,
it's like a bottomless pit over there.
It is,
Turkey?
but that's like that's one dude, right? But then again, are they bringing in that much money? Like, I don't know. Like, the Times Square event was essentially free, and then what is Ryan Garcia going to catch a payout?
Yeah,
but right?
DAZN, you had to buy the pay-per-view, no?
I don't know if you had to buy it off. Did you? Okay, so the pay-per-view. So, but you're not getting that at the door.
No,
you're not getting
the gate is big. The gate's big,
right? The gates are huge, right?
We know that the pay-per-views where the majority of the money comes in, right?
It is, sure, but the gates are large, right?
Of course, especially with $15,000, $20,000 tickets. But thank God nobody paid that.
Yeah.
Because those were really
I would
bad
be asking
fights.
for my money
really
back,
bad
to be honest with you. Like,
Agree.
Agree.
It was no good. All right, there. It looks like Ozan's staying with you.
Yeah.
Worst case, I would stay with Joseph. That's what I want to hear, Ozan. Worst case, yeah.
Bobby
in case I don't
Ocala
let him
says
in. Yeah.
Joseph looks 35 years old. Thanks, man.
Hey, well, I don't know about that, but sure, okay.
Sure.
I wouldn't give him that.
Yeah.
I
I'll
really
take it,
wouldn't,
man.
right?
Whatever.
That's the situation right now, guys. PONY still involved with this one. I punched back in here at 61s. It's showing me 58s, so we're a little bit out of the money on this one. Definitely looking at continuing the ride up here on Pony, trying to get it at the bottom end of the range. Gonna send it to Adara.
Pun there, Sharif, and also thank you to our friends at ProfitX, because if you're looking for unbeatable, in sports, playing flexibility is everything. ProfitX, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why settle for a single offered price when you can just set your own? Plus, our mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. ProfitX, where you call the shots anytime, anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Back to you.
I'm noticing, dude, like I get these notifications from Auto Trader.
Yeah.
And so if you search a car, it'll just keep sending you notifications on the things that you search.
Yeah.
So I searched the Model Y not that long ago. Joseph, how much would you say a decently priced 2024 with 16,000 kilometers, fully loaded? It's got the blue color, which is extra, white vegan leather, which is also extra. Doesn't have a FSD, Joseph, but it's got
2024.
Pardon me?
2024 year.
2024.
16K. I'm gonna say.
This is a Model Y.
Yeah. 65,000.
42,988.
Oh, wow.
Dude,
There you go.
Teslas have dropped off a cliff in terms of used. The prices. Can I tell you something? My old man and I, we went and checked out a Model Y. It was a performance. It was 2022. It was in the middle of COVID. I will never forget it. April 2022. We drove out to Guelph to check this thing out. Yeah. This guy wanted 95. 95. They were like 30,000 above sticker because that's when gas prices went through the roof because of the invasion, whatever. And everybody wanted Teslas because everybody thought this was going to be the case forever and ever more. And it was insane because the amount of money you would have spent on a gas-powered car, you spent on the increase in the price of buying these Teslas.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, I can't believe it's like half the price. So it was 2022 at the time. Obviously, it's 2022 now. So this is a year older.
Yeah.
Right? Not now. 22 at the time. It was a 22 model. This is year 25. That's a 24. But bro,
43 for essentially 60K.
It's no
brand
good.
new, right? Yeah, it's not good at all. I mean, there you go. Talk about brand damage, Sharif, right?
That's what it is. It's brand damage.
I don't think it's going to
Hated.
be forever lasting now.
No.
We'll get over it.
No, but we keep talking about this. We keep talking about Europe and the drop in demand in Europe. There's a drop in demand in the United States too. Let's be honest with it. And here's the thing too, Joseph. Like right-leaning, as a general rule, right-leaning people who may agree with a lot of Elon Musk's views are not necessarily EV drivers.
No,
they don't actually like EVs.
No, what do you
so
mean?
it's a dichotomy that he found himself in that he's alienated a little bit the people who do like EVs and the people who like him don't necessarily like what he has to sell.
They like stacks and black diesel smoke.
There you go. They want F-150s. They want dualies. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Again, that's a generalization, and not everybody fits under that umbrella. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm making these wide dispersion generalizations. But for the most part, I don't know. I don't think he should resign, Cristobal. I think he's just got way too much to offer the company from a technical sense. But
he's gonna be warned, or I guess the Warren of Tesla. I guess he's not. He will never, until he has to retire. I don't think he ever will.
No, he's like. I feel like he's one of those guys that's just like he'll work till he dies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He has to.
Like Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie.
He has
There's a lot of people that like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, I kind of see what you guys are saying there. You guys are killing me in the chat, man. I can't even repeat some of this. All right, man. Yeah, Jeremy Newman, you're dang right. I like my diesels, LMAO. Yeah, sure. I'm not saying you don't, brother. I'm not saying anything about them. We got plenty of people who like that kind of stuff over here as well. Just go north of Toronto, and we get into the countries. That's all the country area. That's all people are driving, man. They like big cars. They like big SUVs, 3-row SUVs. They like their dualies. They like their F-250s. It's normal. That's what it is here. Driving that in Toronto is a little bit tougher. Obviously,
most definitely tough.
The streets of Toronto are notoriously great, Joseph. They're excellent. They're well paved, well maintained. Adara, I'm not being sarcastic. Of course I am. Yeah, I'm just trying to throw you. Yes, I am being very sarcastic. They're not very good at all, Joseph. Yeah. We're still holding this position on Pony here as we zig and zag near highs. We're kind of doing the same thing, though, guys. In fact, it looks a bit more bullish because during the previous areas of consolidation, we were kind of sideways in our consolidation. Now we're kind of putting these higher highs and higher lows. So I'm trying to build up the position incrementally towards the low end of the range. I perceive that to be to the high 40s, maybe even 40. I've got a dip trade there at 40 that's gone unfilled for the past 20 minutes or so. So we'll see what we get there. I got 61s. It's showing me 56, so we're not that much out of the money. Let's see what else everybody's saying over here. Ayush Sharma. Sharif, is TDUP in a trend break to the downside now? It does feel like that way, brother. Good call out by you. Good observation there. It does feel like it may flat bottom break. And the reason I say that is because you have this area high here at 40s that we already know was kind of hard to breach. It breached it on a wick basis, dropped right below it, and then the next attempt at 40 is a lower high. Right? All the while, we're kind of using the 610 area, which was the closing print on these candles, as area support. But for how long? What I need to see, my man, is a break above this area to say, okay, well, we've got higher lows, and now we've got higher highs again, so the trend is intact. That comes if we break above that 635 area, which we haven't done for a while here on TDUP. So good observation by you. We'll see exactly what we get here. KIDZ is breaking out to the high side here. So just popped up off that volume weighted average price at 657. All the way up into 680. Good look here for KIDZ. I was involved in this one earlier with good share size, but it did not act in the way that I had planned, so I flattened out on that one. But here comes $7 again. Let's load up KIDZ. There it is. One directional candle to the upside here.
One direction.
A big volume spike there, Joseph, on one 5-minute candle coming into that 690 area. So KIDZ back in focus, but it's not up by much, guys. About 8.94%, just about 9% right now. We'll keep tabs on that one.
Yeah, good look there. I know a lot of people were mentioning Robinhood this morning. I know Neil was talking about it as well, too. But we got a nice spike here. As you can see, we broke this pivot high. We did print this indecision, this inverted hammer right here, though, guys. But nice engulfing candle and recovery here on Robinhood. A great earnings report, just the market didn't like it. So there you go. You can see that we're pulling back. Maybe
I feel it was like Palantir.
It's exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it was like everything was so good, but everybody expected so much out of them. Like what the hell was wrong with the Palantir?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's the surprise, right? They're expecting a little bit more, and we didn't get that. I mean, with Palantir, we were approaching those all-time highs, and we just went on like a monstrous run. So you can, totally justifiable, but I think it's going to continue to climb higher eventually. Just the street wants to absorb some more liquidity, grab some shares at lower prices, and then start to rocket the underlying asset.
Friend Danny Ives, man, throwing around statements there.
He's throwing out
statements.
The T word is crazy.
This is crazy.
That is crazy.
Joseph, they're not even making $1 billion in revenue on the quarter yet, man. They're not making $1 billion on the quarter.
Crazy.
Apple, which is $3 trillion, is making almost $100 billion on the quarter. Palantir is not making one.
No.
And the guide for the next quarter, which was above estimates, is still 900 and change.
Yeah. I mean, but it's still like the growth from a year-over-year standpoint is fantastic, right? And that's what we want. No that was like 68% with that forward guidance as well too coming into place. It's just a fast-growing company, and I think that's what the street likes about it. And I think not to compare apples to oranges or anything along those those lines. But that's why the street really liked Nvidia, just because of that growth cycle, that exponential growth, and you've seen that reflected in the stock price as well. And I think Palantir is going through something similar like that, and that's kind of what you want to look for, I think. And that's why I kind of got into the likes of Robinhood as well, because we've seen the growth within the activity across the platform. So that's kind of the thesis that I built, is like, okay, we see it through some of these tech stocks. Let's see if a company like Hood is representing those similar kind of growth patterns, can reflect that in its price.
And if I can add a little bit to that, I agree with everything you just said, but I feel like obviously they don't do the same thing.
No,
they don't.
It's not even relatively close.
They're both kind of like new untapped markets. So for example, like banking, real banking, like investment banking for lower net worth. I'm not saying lower net worth individuals.
Like you said, not the $20 million, $30 million individuals.
So bang, there's one. And then obviously Palantir. AI for obviously for the military, but there's other applications as well. Like we know, Joseph, their commercial contract increase year over year, 71%. Newer commercial contracts this past quarter than the one last year, which is fantastic, man. Who the hell can complain about that?
No, that's what I'm saying. Those are the type of growth cycles you want to be able to identify in some of these stocks. And again, I don't know how far we can get into multiple expansion and what the PE it's trading at and everything along those lines, but this is exactly what we want to look for. And that's what drew me to Robinhood, right? 700% increase year over year in crypto transactions, 100% increase in options transactions, more users on the platform, the gold package, etc., the AI bots. This is what I was looking for, and this is what I wanted to see in Robinhood. And I think at some point this thing is going to continue to climb higher, and that's why I really like this stock.
You know what? What Pony is doing right now, man. Pony is powering up, just like my man right there. There he is. Get it, He-Man. Can't even.
Climbing another furlong there.
Bro, I absolutely love how the money is just like emitting from all of his body right there.
Can I be honest with you?
It's holding up. What?
It's not one of my favorite GIFs, man. I'm going to be honest. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. That's the thing. I'm just.
There's one right there. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't love it. I don't love it, but I mean.
How can you not like this?
I was in a big.
What is happening, bro? Look at him. He pops up on the corner of the screen. He pops up in the middle of the screen. Wherever you want him, you got him. Shout out to my man, He-Man. Come on, man. Uh-oh. All right. Adara.
What was that? Oh, the trumpet.
You don't have anything. What's going on over there, Fabian? You're faking us out, bro.
Yeah.
Although I will add.
Yeah, I mean, you most definitely want to be on.
Hold on, Adara's saying something. What happened, Adara?
I just called, Pony is looking genuinely good today, and I like that animation.
Get it,
out of here.
I put the furlong reference in there, but no one really understood that one. But that's okay. For all my track stars out there, all my
she's a runner.
Pony, all my pony.
She's a track star.
A nice furlong climbing. Those furlongs, I guess it doesn't even make sense. But yeah, I mean, here, this is my favorite. If I'm going to be honest, this has been my favorite as of late.
Get him, Jerome.
Tomorrow,
Get him, Jerome.
There's going to be no rate
predictions
cut.
about that?
Yeah. We're pausing.
We're paused?
Yeah. I think it's.
Yeah. Well, I think that the market's pricing that in. But any curveballs there with respect to tariffs? You think he drops any hot lines about that?
I think no. Well, maybe possibly, right? But again, I don't think he's going to get involved too much with that. I think it's been the same thing for the past couple of years. Maximum employment, price stability, but hopefully he's a little bit more dovish in this. It was like, okay, but he's gonna say that the financial markets are strong, they're robust. We don't have anything to worry about on that front. So that's what I'm thinking he's gonna say.
I agree. All right, guys, here we go. We added into Pony on the drop down there. I added at that 40 penny level. We've wet the beak all the way up to 78. We have 51s on. I just added a little bit there. Now waiting for that 55 cross and pop. Let's see if it does pop. It's at 55s right now, unable to cross. There it is. Now we're moving up. Let's go ahead and wait at my friend 60. Oh, come on, Mr. 60. Print, bro. All right, so we'll see if this one wants to print, showing me 60 here on the ask side of the level 2. We are going to Adara at the big desk.
We just talked there about the Fed briefly, and so we do have the FOMC meeting tomorrow, of course, of interest. But also, if you want to brush up ahead of the FOMC meeting, why not check out XTTV Research? Look at some of our JPOW-themed graphics. I have a pretty massive series coming out tomorrow about the statistical analysis of his ties and what role they do or do not play in certain aspects of the market. And there actually is some statistical correlation. But before we get to that, here's what we already have out here. This has been an ongoing series, just looking at all of Trump's Truth Social posts about the Fed, and he just posted one last week. He's not using his new nickname too late anymore for Jerome Powell as of this most recent post, but he did say once again that the Fed should, quote, lower its rate, all caps, 3 exclamation points. So we'll have to wait and see what Jerome Powell says after this meeting, but it's worth noting, as of late, Trump has posted after every FOMC meeting and after every NFP print. So with that pattern, we might get a post from him after this FOMC meeting if things are not to his liking. We'll have to wait and find out. But in the meantime, X at TTV Research for all of your infographic needs. Back to you.
Oh, Pony's flying, guys.
Fine.
Pony's taking out highs, man. Here we go. We're at 88s. Joseph, I know you wanted to do that real quick, but we're going to flatten out here at the top on PONY. Wowzers. Pony is going, man. I literally just added at 40s, at 45s 1 second ago, and now we're at 94s. We're about to break 14 here on Pony, man. This one is the one that I really should have been sizing into, not that CRWV. This is the one, guys, very strong. It's not letting up, man. It hasn't breached the 10 EMA since it reclaimed it. Goodness gracious, at 10.55, each and every closing print on PONY above that 10 EMA, Joseph, since 5 to 11. Unbelievable look.
Hey, but you know what time it is, guys. New traders, listen up. First month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Ozan.
Yeah, he's staying at your place, bro.
He's staying at your place.
Look, man, you know, I can have him over for like a night or two, as long as he smashes 4 nights at your place, bro.
4 nights? That's crazy.
I'll do 1, bro.
That's crazy.
I like your eyes are like 4.
He's Signa 4, yeah.
Shout out to my man, Ozan.
Selena would be kicking him out real
right
quick.
away.
Yeah,
eh?
real quick.
Like, who's this?
Later. No, you gotta.
You can't bring somebody
dog
to the show. He's Signal, baby. He's getting amped up. Get it, Ozan.
Guys,
Go.
Bitcoin just put in a new high a day quietly. You can see that we traded it here earlier. We went 1 for 2 on this one, so 50% accuracy, keeping it positive, but negative on the day, full disclosure, just due to that Palantir, the Palantir trading, and I just kind of took that off my charts, and I wasn't paying any mind to that one. But here, a nice high day on BTC, IBIT that is. 53.92, that key level. And you can see here on the daily, guys, we're right back at the top of this range, and we're holding this 95. I believe this is around 94K here on Bitcoin. We're holding that really well, and that's exactly what we want to see, a nice breath. And then the plan is that we take kind of that next leg higher, and that's going to probably put us around that 56, 57 target on Bitcoin. But we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. That will put us on 100,000, on Bitcoin itself, just a little bit north of that. So that's the game plan on that front. And then same with the likes of Nvidia. If we want to go over kind of just my swing trade plans and what we got going on, and that's what it is with Nvidia. So you can see that we're still holding around this 110 range, and I mentioned us being on the backside of this channel. We have now got that retest of the backside, and then I'm happy to have got that contract fill. We've held that 110 relatively strong, and that's going to be a positive sign for this strength. Let's see if we can get some positive tailwinds here on Nvidia, and I'm sure that we can climb into that into those high teens, 119, 120, because there is high levels of open interest at those strikes, Sharif.
All right, WRD breaking out, guys. Thank you for calling into the chat. Chuck of all trades calling out. There were other people as well. HR, Puff and stuff talking about it as well. Shout out to you. Good look by both of you guys. Again, like we mentioned, WRD. Sorry, 1 second. What is this? We Ride Incorporated did report yesterday after the bell. You can see that spike there at around 5 o'clock, or it seems. No, let me just make sure I'm stating that accurately. The 6th. I don't know if this actually reported after the bell. Let me just have a look. No, so I think it was, It was the strategic partnership with Uber. For whatever reason, they reported it around 5 o'clock and the market reacted to it. So WeRide expand strategic partnership to bring autonomous vehicles to 15 additional cities globally over the next 5 years, including Europe. And it's taking out highs as we speak. Look at that big boy move. It ended up giving up the ghost right at the open there. It looks like, you know, somebody was selling up a storm. It ends up holding at around $7. And since that time, it's been a plethora of higher highs and higher lows. What a great look for WRD. I got to tell you, you know, that's a missed one by me. On the day, let's keep an eye out on this one. 678 high a day continues to go. Let's take off this piece of you know what and put up WRD. Here we go, 678 breaking through the range at around 460, 885 now. This one looks like it is going to that $9 area quick as you like. I see the 10 exponential moving average on WRD at around 850. There is support at around the 60s because we did wick into there multiple times at around 1230, 1245. We'll keep an eye on that one when we get back from Madeira.
Yeah, just worth noting here, this is the NASDAQ making lower highs, lower lows as of right now. And it looks like we have some geopolitical turmoil or tensions on watch here. Pakistan and India exchanging comments. Pakistan's defense minister saying that a clash with India is imminent and they'll destroy if India builds anything to stop water. So just some comments coming through between these two countries, geopolitical tensions. I'm not seeing anything else here, guys. Back to you.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff about this online. It's ugly. It's getting ugly. I don't like it. Like, we don't need more belligerencies all over the world.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't look good right now. And I'm seeing these talk shows on YouTube. It's like there is a moderator. I don't know where they're from. They're trying to be arbitrators, and then they'll have like a guest from India and a guest from Pakistan, and they're just yelling at each other. Like, the entire thing is just them yelling at each other. They obviously don't see eye to eye on much. And to be quite honest with you, dude, like, I don't think we need more turmoil in the world, man.
Just
but are you surprised by it? That's the thing. I'm kind of not surprised. Because it's become a multipolar world. You're strong, I'm strong, they're strong, she's strong, and everybody wants to flex. Everybody wants to get their way. And how are you going to do that unless somebody else loses?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
The market will balance itself, says the Obe.
Let it balance itself.
Let it balance itself naturally, he said. I don't know, Obe. I don't know if I'm going to leave that.
Obe's going for the natural selection.
It'd be nice, but I just don't see it happening.
I mean,
Brandon Franklin, have I ever watched The View? No, I've obviously seen clips online and stuff like that, and I've probably changed the channel and come across them. Why? I'm not interested in that show in the least. But yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah, have you
Sharif
ever,
So Canadian, says Mr. Easy Street. Brother, why am I Canadian? Because I don't want everybody killing each other? I think that we can agree on humans. We don't want that to be the case.
The majority of humans.
What's going on over here?
Can agree on. Did you ever read the book, The Breadwinner?
You don't know the history, so stick to stocks.
Okay.
Brother, did I take one side or another? And I'll talk about whatever pleases me. So don't tell me what to talk about. Go ahead.
Yeah, read the book, The Breadwinner, even though it has nothing.
What is it about?
It's about the war kind of in the Middle East. It's an old book, old.
This is the Middle East.
Yeah. I know, that's why I'm saying it's not really referencing that.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, just go and check it out. It's a good book. Yeah, all right, guys. Market AMD starting to break some of these lows. We know we got earnings this evening, so gonna keep an eye out on this one. Let's see if we can ground gain some ground here in advanced money destroyer and become advanced money duplicator once again. So someone please, Lisa Sue, make AMD great once again. Trading around 225, now about a 60% haircut off of that one there.
These rants, I always get the joke from everybody.
Yeah, everybody get that.
I love everybody.
Get them going there. Exactly, poke the bear. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong, to be honest with you.
I didn't even make a pronouncement on who was right or wrong. I just said people are getting involved,
please
bro.
Don't be killing each other.
That's all I literally said.
And people are getting, but it doesn't matter, all right? That's what we want, just world peace. As Will Ferrell once said, everybody love everybody in semi-pro, which
Semi-pro.
yeah. So there you go. There you are. But
I love it.
Look at this pattern here, guys. Just talk about sideways price action. You can see that we've been trading within about a $2 range, not even roughly a $1 range, roughly here in NVDA. You get this one whipsaw move with that volatility spike, but we couldn't hold those levels, and then we just come right back into this range right here. So if you're playing those 0 DTE condors, I think that's going to be a potentially a good setup for today if you're in right now, or even some of the just basic spreads, especially after that volatility spike. You'd be collecting some nice ELE. Everybody knows ELE. Yes, that's what we want. Everybody love everybody, man.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even know that that's what it meant for.
Yeah.
I'm not in touch. What's that, Adira?
I said, oh, that's what that means.
So you didn't know either.
Everybody loves everybody.
Kind of out of a loop there, bro.
So that's what we want, and we are. So guys, just
man.
be patient. So yeah, Q's. Breaking down a little bit here. If you're playing those credit spreads based off of these volatility spikes, you're probably doing relatively well, especially those bear calls. Even if you buy some bull puts around the lows on those strike prices, you're waiting for those to expire worthless, and especially gaining that premium off of those spikes is a positive sign. So condor traders seem to be in control today, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, I'm trying to weasel into WRD over here. I'm really having a hard time deciding what the right level is. So I'm trying to wait for that 8.5. And there's a reason why I'm waiting for 8.5. It's because the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 is at 8.5, and I also like it for the psychological area of resistance. And to be quite honest with you, it's not just psychological. I mean, look what it did over here. It kept rejecting that 8.5 over and over and over until we took it decisively at around 135. So it's exactly what I'm gonna do, man. I'm throwing in an order at 8.5. I'm obviously going to front run it because it does get to be a bit of a crowded trade. I'm going to put it about 4 or 5 pennies ahead of the level. It's showing me 60s now, so maybe we get filled on the dip trade. What's my out here? A decided breach of the 10. So as I mentioned, the 10 is at the 10 EMA on the 5. So it's, as I mentioned, it's right at 850. So I'll give this one about 6 or 7 pennies to that level. Here we go. We're showing 55s. We're not getting filled. It's going to have to drop below 55 to get that fills. It looked like other people are buying this up at 55s, much in the same way that I want to do. So do we get it in here? Look at it. It just bounces right back up. That's frustrating on the day. Oh, my goodness. I don't know, man. I just haven't had luck today. It comes into my level. It doesn't trigger me. You're kidding. All right. I don't want to chase this one, though, because I don't want to be in a position where I have to DCA to no end. So that's the situation. Pony coming into my level as well. I'm waiting for a 10 EMA retracement on this. So let's go ahead and get some in over here. If we can get in some at 67s, will it have me there? There we go. Good. Again, Pony, anything below the 10 EMA, I'm out of that one because it's been very respectful of it. And yeah, so WRD doesn't let me in. It comes into 55s, at least for the moment. Doesn't trigger me quite yet. So we'll pack our patience on this one. But again, anything really below that 10 exponential moving average on the 5 on a decided basis, I'm going to be gonzo with this one. The other one I'm involved in, KIDZ. Not a bad look on this one. Still waiting for that higher low, higher high pattern to manifest. So pack our patience on that one. So those are the 3 trades I'm involved in right now, Joseph.
Nice look there, guys. All right, let's take a look at RGC. As someone in the chat so kindly asked me to do so. Can you talk about RGC and how it is getting this action with such low volume? Absolutely. Bioscience, biotech, okay. So again, you got the volume, but you can see there's liquidity issues. Excuse me. Big time liquidity issues here, even on the 5-minute. Pre-market and everything along those lines. I can take a look at what they exactly do. So these coffee always give me a little hiccups here and there. I feel like Fabian.
You and Fabian, man.
Yeah. Fabian was on another planet today, this morning with that one there. I was like, what is going on? There was just so much going on. My brain was just being stimulated with so much. I'm like, man, I need to step out of here for a second and take a little bit of a walk. But here you go. You can see on Regenicell Bioscience here, guys. There's big time liquidity issues. Is this an intraday trader? Absolutely not. Normal special. We got to be nice to Regenesis over here, all right, or Regenicell. But a nice breakout. And I think this is what you're going to be referring to. How come we see this massive breakout, but then the volume isn't necessarily confirming it? Maybe it will step in. Something's going on here. I'm going to pull up exactly what they do. because I'm curious, because that's a really big time breakout candle, Sharif. It's gone over 100% today on the session from peak, 150% from the bottom to the top there. So we're going to definitely have to take a deeper dive into what's going on with this one and to see what we got going on with RGC. So Regenicell Bioscience Holding is a bioscience company that focuses on research development of commercialization of traditional Chinese medicine, for the treatment of neurocognitive disorder and degenerative, specifically attention deficit and hyperactive disorder, ADHD, and autism, with a $2.9 billion market cap here. Let's see if there's any specific news on this healthcare stock. Nothing that I see. Holdings Limited resumed trading. So it halted, I guess, throughout multiple times of the day as we've seen on the price action. But there you go. There must be some level of catalyst because that's a big boy breakout here on
I like that. Yeah. Big boy breakouts. Yeah. All right, guys, we're doing it freaking live here on Pony, man. We're taking it. I added aggressively into 55s. We just got into 80s. I'm pleased this punch with this trade. I'm looking at taking out more there. It did get into 80s. It didn't cross. I think that probably is not a good idea to take another one there at 80, so I'm going to try to cancel it if I can super quick. There we go. Good. Let's go ahead and put it a little bit higher than that 80s. We're going to put it at 82s because I did take a print there on 80s. So good look right now for PONY. WRD, I got in, got out super quick. Lost 4 pennies a share just like that. It had to hold that 10 exponential. I gave it a super tight stop, so kind of on me there. Back to Pony as it's breaking out again. Oh my goodness. Here we go. This one just took out all my orders again. Now I'm waiting at 90s for the next beak wetter there. So showing me 87s, down to 85s, right back up again. So PONY, man, is the gift that keeps on giving. Again, giving you that pullback off the 10 EMA on the 5. This is what I'm looking at, guys, on my side chart. This is the PONY over here. And as you can see, I mean, it's just been very, very respectful of that green line. This is where I got in on this pullback into the 10 EMA, and then right back up we go into the high 80s again. So what's my cost basis? 56. So let's go ahead and move up the stop to 54s. So we'll go 13, 54, and then if it ended up losing that level, then we get stopped out. Simple as that. We'll put that for the last remaining amount there. KIDZ, though, I see that one finally took out some orders to the high side, taking out 88. Now I'm waiting at 93 and then south of 7. It's got a higher low situation. Could be a flat top breakout here, guys, through the mid 90s. It's been basically putting in higher lows ever since that candle at 125. That big green candle that manifested at 125 on KIDZ. Subsequent to that, all the candles have higher lows. Possible flat top breakout. If we can get it, I'd be pleased as punch to take out all those orders to the high side there that I already have waiting for the order to trigger. So showing me 88s right now. We did get the beak wet there. Let's see if we can get something at or in the 90s, excuse me, the mid 90s there. What else we got? Okay, so Pony not giving up the ghost quite yet. So we are not getting that $14 break or a high. Wow. Joseph, bro. Look, go, Pony, go. I'm negative on the day, full disclosure, because of that. No. CRWV, it rinsed me, Joseph, but I'm not going to use any expletives. Look at this guy wanting me to get kicked off the show.
No, I thought you were going to go beep.
That's actually a good idea. Right? But Pony, guys, fantastic look there at Pony, right back into the high day, 1394, big boy candle there, touches the 10 EMA, rockets back up to the upside. So fantastic look on PONY, now up 44%. My next beak wetter, guys, is a break of that $14 area. We're waiting at 1405s. So if we can get something around that, that will be my last out there. It's been a good trade on Pony on the day, man. I can't say that for too many of my trades today because CoreWeave really did destroy me. But Pony, we've been just doing the same thing. Any pullbacks into the 10 EMA I've been adding, and that's kind of how that trade's ended up working out. Sometimes they work out that way, sometimes they don't. And yeah, that's the situation. Joseph, what do you got?
I'm just looking at AMD's daily, and I just like at a loss of words here. I would never expect this name to be doing this. Like, it was supposed to be number 2 in the AI race, and we're still down, I think, like 65% off of those all-time highs, which I just find insane. I'm curious to what you guys think. The stock has just been beaten to a pulp. 56% still down off of that all-time high. I'm curious to what you guys think. Is AMD going to come out with any form of surprise? Is it a pump, or is it going to dump in the aftermarket? I wouldn't mind to see a rebound in AMD Advanced Micro Devices, and its name is stuck. It was last year when we heard Katina Man say Advanced Money Destroyer, and it's just absolutely, it's probably the best fitting name for any ticker right here. So curious what you guys think, pump or dump here on AMD on that earnings report, which I believe is just after the bell. We'll get an exact time here for you guys.
It is at 4:15.
4:15. Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, so AMD is at 4:15, and you have Super Micro at 4:20 as well, too there, Adara?
That is correct.
That is correct. Okay, cool. So we got AMD, a dump. We're getting some dumps here on that one. So AMD Super Micro within a 5-minute span. And then we got ANET and Rivian both coming out at 4:05. And UPST, I actually like trading UPST in the earnings. So that's coming up as at 4:05 as well, too. Let's take a look at Upstart. Dump. Everybody's dumping AMD. So again, if everybody's thinking dump, maybe we get that pump up in here. But let's pull up UPST here momentarily, guys. Upstart Holdings, and to see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. Yeah, wow, we're still up and down quite a bit. Still roughly about 50% off of those all-time highs to where we're currently trading, 47.5 to be exact. So there you go, guys. Some names that are reporting tonight still really beaten up and haven't recovered as well as some of the other ones. So there we go. We'll keep an eye out on AMD and Supermicro this evening, and most definitely UPST. I think they're going to be interesting. And then come tomorrow morning, I think who do we have early before the open? I know there's a couple names. I think Carvana might be. No, it's not. It's Uber and Disney tomorrow morning. And then Adara, I think you like this one, Novo Nordisk. I think you like trading that one, and then Unity as well too. So. She said,
I love how she comes in like that.
Yeah. She's like, oh yeah.
It's sick.
Oh yeah.
And then she slams the door in her face.
There you go, and then just hits that one there.
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside.
There it is. Hey.
There it is, man. Get that. I should have took something like that on that for the photo shoot.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I know.
But yeah, so there you go, guys. So Uber and Disney tomorrow in the morning before the market opens. So that can give us some more in play stocks for that session, and that's what I like to see. And then in the evening time, we have Apple, another Adara favorite. Right there. And then Carvana as well, too. Let me pull up Carvana before. Oh, did she just? There we go.
Adara,
is that you?
When you hit the button to come in, is it automatically playing the like and subscribe as well of you? It is. Very clever. I do like that because every time she chimes in, she ends up on the bottom of the screen as well.
So there you go.
So it's fantastic. Look there. Shout out to Adara. Guys, sorry, Joseph, I got to interrupt because HIMS or Z, whichever one you guys want to trade, Z is the 2 times leverage ETF of S. I'm talking about HIMS. I'm talking about HIMZ and HIMS, if you will allow me. Breaking out not at day's highs, but close, taking out that $31 level, which has been a hard level to take on the day. In fact, I'll submit to you guys, the real level, even though 32.15 was the high of the day, the real level was that 30.50. Once, twice, thrice, taking out 30.50 on the third time over here. It wasn't a flat top break in the way that you'd get that huge bar that takes it through. No, it kind of incrementally took out that level. But it's at local area high, 31.28, still south of 32.15. Fantastic look here on HIMZ. If you look at the HIMS, same chart. One's more expensive though. One's trading at 47, almost 48 bucks, and then HIMZ is obviously trading at 31. So not much of a difference there, but I just want to let you guys know that breaking out into the high day right now, Joseph, it's been a fantastic look today for this name. It was an earnings, is this a loser or a winner, man? The market determines that, and that looks like a winner.
Yeah, that looks like a winner regardless of the report.
There you go.
Yeah, guys, I was just looking at, remember Carvana? I remember when I first started trading, this thing was like literally around 10. 10, 12 bucks, like $8.25.
I'll never forget that,
Yeah,
bro.
that is absolutely insane. Like with a low of around $5 or so, a little bit higher than that. Let's take a look at that from a appreciation standpoint. This was the short report that was released on that. Havana Woody sent me that one. So there we go. Wow, 3,000% from that May 3rd, 2023 low, Sharif.
Yes,
So
sir.
where we're currently trading at 3,000%, 3,034% return on that front. So that is absolutely insane. Carvana reporting on Wednesday afternoon there, guys. So that is another positive look there. And I just won't trade it now, but I mean,
It's
what an
ridiculously
absolute,
priced,
yeah,
yeah.
look at an absolute
What's the price
monstrous
at?
run.
We're two what?
250 something, 258, 259 with an all-time high of around 291. How do you, I don't understand that. Like that just doesn't make, how do you turn it around that quick? I personally, I haven't
there's
seen
been
that.
many short reports on them that they're making up stuff. It's a father-son duo, right?
Yeah.
And then the dad has some history of
kind of
fudging.
Oh yeah. What do you think? There's any fudging going around here?
I have no idea.
Because how does a car, a secondhand car dealership, go from a $5 stock to $262 in a span of a couple of years?
Great question.
Like who's buying their car out of a vending machine?
I got a couple of answers for that. Like my understanding was, remember in 2022, late 22 and then early 23, used cars fell off a cliff. Like all the prices fell down. So I'm assuming may have taken, if they had cash on hand, that is, obviously they took advantage of the depressed prices, bought a lot of, I have no idea, Joseph, and then kind of had that one, arbitrage opportunity there. But guys, there are several short reports out about Carvana. So I'm not saying that they're valid in any way, but I'm saying that they exist. And if you're going to invest in the company, it kind of behooves you to know what they have to say, right? I mean, trading it is a different thing. We trade
Totally
price
different.
action, baby, right?
Yeah,
So
it doesn't matter.
it doesn't really matter too much for us as an intraday trade. But if you're going to get into the company, at least hear what these short sellers have to say about Adara. Who was the company that threw in what's it called? The short report on Carvana. Was it the Bear Cave or who was it? Okay. Makes sense. Thank you for that.
I have Kerrisdale Capital was the most recent one.
Kerrisdale,
and then Market Beat also had one as well too.
Market Beat, so Hindenburg. Oh man, wow, these guys are loaded right now.
So there you go. Kerrisdale Capital with the most current one in February of 2024.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't know anything again fundamentally about the company, but that's what we're just conveying messages to you guys, and it's kind of on you to make the decisions. But oh my goodness, did you notice the time?
I did.
I didn't.
202.
I didn't notice the time. All right, guys. It is, okay, I guess Adara's audio wasn't working there for a second. Yeah, it's all good, Adara, no worries. All right, guys, we are overtime. It is time to send you to the dudes on the bottom of the screen. Sean's not in, so I think we're going to need to change that to Obi.
Obi.
But yeah, the big kahunas are to our right. Joseph, send him off.
Go Leafs, go.
Bang.
End it with a little go Leafs go. Great job on the midday, boys. A lot of wild action. I mean, a lot of wild action, but really you can sum up a lot of